Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that.
Running down those blue walls, and that removes RRQ from the equation. What a decision made here by the Vietnamese squad. BE secure. Still up on his feet. On fire drops him. One final player from the side of Twisted Minds. 3v1. Make that 3 we none. Falcons, your back-to-back Clash Squad and Battle Royale champions, the Dominators of Thailand.
Represent, gotta do it hella big, had to run it back again, get like represent, had to do it hella big, had to run it back again, like it. Let it drop. Let it drop. Let it drop.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, survivors of all ages, welcome to the Free Fire World Series Southeast Asia 2026 Spring. $300,000 on the line. Direct slots to the Esports World Cup at stake. 18 of the best Free Fire teams in Southeast Asia are locked and loaded once again. 2 years ago, Gideon, this is exactly where Falcons became champions. They went on to the Esports World Cup and made history. Who will dominate this time around to do exactly the same? My name's AJ. I'm the Mustachio down here with the one and only Gideon Q. We are your casters for the day.
Yep, it's going to be an exciting time to be alive here because we're going to see new storylines and hopefully we're going to see somebody else looking to get that champion prize. 100,000 USD for just the champions. Cut that in half and you get the second places with 50,000, and of course in third, they don't even get half, they get slightly less, 22,000. Everybody is looking to get a top 3 finish here at Free Fire World Series.
Yeah, every single day we've got a team of the day. They get a bonus of $250, and of course the grand finals MVP gets a bonus of 4,000 USD. Of course, we look forward to that a little bit later. We are going to be breaking up the competition into a total of 5 weeks. We've got phase 1 and phase 2 to qualify teams into the grand finals, where we will play Point Rush as well as Champion Rush back to back at the end of May.
For those of you who are just tuning into the show and have no idea what Point Rush or Champion Rush is, don't worry, we'll explain it. But first, we need to go into a deep dive of Phase 1 as well as Phase 2, because people have been questioning, is it the same as last year? Well, sort of, but not really. Let's look at the tournament format, because at the knockout stage, here in Phase 1, we split our teams into 3 different groups. Now, depending on the placement of those groups, after Phase 1, we go into Phase 2, where the top 12 will play first. We will eliminate 2 teams, the best teams actually, from the top, and we'll take the placements from phase 1 to bring in another set of 2 teams. We'll do this for 3 weeks until we get to the end, when we only take the top 6 after 6 have moved on to Point Rush.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, the top 12 teams moves on into Point Rush, which then gives them a few advantage points for the Champion Rush Day on Sunday. And of course, on Sunday, it's unlimited matches. Now, we know this is a lot of information to absorb, so we're going to repeat it all over again. Knockout Phase 1, we have got a total of 18 teams. We're breaking them down into 3 groups. Week number 1, we are going to rank them number 1 up until 12. And of course, week number 2, we're going to be looking at the teams that can qualify through as well. Phase 2 of the competition is where you really want to focus down on, because this is what will determine who gets to sit and rest pretty as they wait for the rest first, because the first 12 teams get to qualify first, so at least with the top 2 teams that performs on every single day.
That's exactly what they want. And this will keep on happening until we already have a top 6. Until we get to the very end, where it finishes off with only the top 16s who advance to the grand finals, which means we eliminate a good chunk of the competition right from the get-go. And that's just before we get into the real grand finals. Week 3 is going to be brutal for a lot of these teams here in phase number 2, so they better buck up, because if they want to do well, it's all based on the way that they play phase 1. Let's not forget about the point system for those of you who are new to the competitive scene here. Our tiebreaker rules are simple. We will check by booyahs, then total eliminations, then rankings in the final game. If you end in first, you will have 12 points, and each elimination is 1 point.
Absolutely. And of course, if you do end up on a tiebreaker, we will look at the number of booyahs first to see exactly who ends up at the top and right below, followed by the overall total eliminations. And of course, even that fails, then we look at the ranking in the final game. But as usual, the point system doesn't really change. It's more of the format that the squads really need to worry about. It is going to be absolutely crucial that they have picked up on exactly what their roster of active skills are going to be, because we still have got the unique active skill in activation.
Everybody loves this system. A unique way to make sure that the meta is always, well, a little unabusable, of course. We're not going to see 4 of the same special, unique active skills. Everybody has to be unique. And we've seen many different types of compositions so far, but with the new introduction of Ray, this might actually change the way that people are going to be looking at this current patch on top of the added changes.
Absolutely looking forward to seeing exactly which crazy man is going to be using Ray out there. Very exciting character, does give you a massive advantage and at the same time a slight disadvantage as well, because on the sea level you cannot underestimate anyone out there, especially if you're going to be telling them exactly where you are. Point rush though, this is something that is new, that's being okay, it's not so new, it's just being brought back to this stage of the competition where we will have teams gaining a slight advantage depending on how well they can do on the first day of our finals.
Remember, this is only 6 games here, so inevitably, even if you don't end up as rank 1 to get those extra 10 points, the Champion Rush format happens almost immediately after. And for those of you who've been watching the internationals, you know how this format is played. You reach 80 points, you get a booyah. After those 80 points, you win the whole tournament. And we're gonna keep playing those games. We're not limiting it to 8 or 10 anymore. We keep playing until somebody finds that booyah.
Yeah, I mean, eventually someone's got to get the job done. At one point, it could just reach, like, you know, critical mass, just like what we saw at the global finals. So many teams stacking up on the point rush condition, and it was just a moment of holy mama, who is going to get it this time round? All out chaos. So if the team wants to rest easy, they need to figure out exactly how to guarantee themselves a booyah. But that's the question though, Gideon. Can you guarantee yourself a booyah in a lobby filled with monsters like these?
Oh, it's too tough to say, especially when we're talking about Championship Rush. We've seen too many predictions go wrong. Let's start in phase number 1, because it feels like this year everybody is extra hungry. We kicked off the year seeing a little bit of Clash Squad just to see where everybody is kind of standing in their own individual prowess, and we didn't obviously get to see everybody, but you could definitely tell everybody was taking it seriously. Even when we were doing like our sound checks and ping tests, these guys are straight up scrimming.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt at all. That's exactly what they were doing yesterday. Can't wait to see what Team Flash has got to bring to the competition. They've got a brand new coach in here running the game from the background, telling these boys exactly what to do out there on the battlefield. Team Flash in the past, they've just been hot and cold. So I wonder which version of them we're going to get this time around. Aurora, on the other hand, you've got veteran players here, but the very first time they're going to come in here with this composition of players.
Yeah, really surprised that Aurora wanted to dip their fingers and their toes into the Free Fire space, especially within Malaysia. It's a really big risk in comparison to, you know, the Kingdom, Viva, RRQ on the other hand. All Gamers Global, these guys have maintained their rosters for a good chunk of time. Very minute changes here and there, but it feels like they've got a system that works.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And taking a look at GOW, Deanne, one of the core players, Demon from 2025. They are most definitely the consistent ones out of Vietnam. Can't wait to see exactly what they get to pull away for the squad this time round. Avita XKDC, one of the exciting squads that I'm looking forward to watching out there in performance at the Free Fire Max Asia Invitational. Avita XKDC became the dual mode champs, dominating both Battle Royale as well as Clash Squad. We don't have Clash Squad here, but I can't wait to see what they do on the Southeast Asian leg, because it's the first time they're playing at a level like this.
And it's really exciting to see these newer teams from T2 come over into the Tier 1 scene, right? I mean, BTR was a pretty good example as well. Every other team that has come after them has been doing the exact same thing. You feeling hungry, you start challenging people right from the get-go. Get an understanding of what the landscape looks like, and then adjusting in week 2.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Bigatron by Vitality, made their break into the regional level back in 2024 fall, and consistent ever since. They'll be playing inside of Group A alongside Aurora, WAG, GOW Buriram, as well as Team Heavy. In Group B, we have got RRQ, Magna, AG Global, P Esports, Avita XKDC, as well as Team Flash.
It's going to be Group A versus Group B today. Tomorrow it's going to be B and C, and we start looking at the lineups. Minor changes and minor tweaks have been made to a majority of these lineups, and we're looking at BRU, of course. They're having the introduction of Turner on his side, and so far, based on what we've seen just in Clash Squad alone, he knows how to press buttons. He knows how to game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, one of the heavy hitters, RRQ here, they have not become champions just yet in one of these big competitions. In the past 2 years, it has been very challenging for them. I mean, at the global finals back in 2024, they came runner-up. Last year at the Esports World Cup, they were the runner-up again. I mean, they're looking for the big one this time around, and this is that competition. Maybe just like Falcons, they could become champions here, gain that momentum, head on into the Esports World Cup, and get it done in 2026. I can't wait to see exactly what's going to happen. This time around, we've got Alpine taken out of the rotation of maps. So game number 6 is going to go back into the hands of the randomizer. Well, we replay one of these maps that you see being thrown out here from game 1 to 5.
It's going to be Bermuda, the Nexterra, Purgatory, Solara, and Kalahari. And now the fact that we don't have the traditional Alpine, Solara is something that people have to be good at this stage of the tournament, right? We don't know how long Alpine is going to be outside of the esports ring for the time being, but in the meantime, hopefully you can score as many points as you possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely, man. You gotta love Solara. You love each and every single one of those compounds. You love the fact that you can reposition yourself from compound to compound very easily off the slide rails. But can you recover from a wrong prediction? Guys, this is exactly what Gideon and I think is going to be breaking down today. Both of us think RRQ as well as Buriram will be on fire as usual. But Avida X KDC up against GOW. These are the underdogs that we think are going to be surprising everyone today.
Yeah, we're hoping that they surprise us. I'm looking more towards Gal because I have data behind them. I mean, you watch AVD do what they do best within this year, but I mean, last year Gal has not failed me within the first 2 weeks. That's all I can say. That's what my data shows.
That's exactly what your data shows, man. I mean, Gal's not a bad squad. If you look at their performance in 2024 and 2025, they have definitely improved exactly where they sit on the overall leaderboard, usually down towards the bottom 13th, 12th in 2024. They've improved to 6th, 8th, and I think that's phenomenal for the squad. But you're going up against Avida X KDC that I think is going to be performing well today. And bro, they just dominated the Thai scene before qualifying for the Southeast Asian leg. I think if they can dominate the Thai region, they can dominate Southeast Asian region as well. But of course, we have to see exactly how the matches crackle in a little bit, Gideon.
Yeah, no, of course. I understand where you're coming from, right? Thailand is just a powerful region when it comes down to these Battle Royale FPSs. And they're coming up, you know, out of the gate, I'm guessing swinging. I'm just hoping they take down some of the bigger dogs to set the tone.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, let's see exactly how they get that done, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is match number 1 on day number 1 on week number 1 here at the Free Fire World Series. Southeast Asia Spring 2026. We're starting this year off once again. We want to find out who the dominators of Southeast Asia could be, because on the global stage later on, they're going to be representing all of us, not just the individual regions. And of course, we start things off on the good old Bermuda. Can't wait to see exactly who gets themselves into a hot drop situation here.
Let's find out. Immediately, Shipyard going to get taken over by Aurora's side. The early droppers are expected to fight each other. BTR, Flash as well. Oh no! Looks like GOW might be contested here. It's tough to say just yet until they reach the ground, but it's been a very, very neutral path when it comes down to the flights.
Well, let's see exactly who the unlucky ones might be. Over at Shipyard, Aurora finding themselves decent enough loot. Nobody's going to be disturbing them just yet. Good drop for Buriram, as they absolutely would love to have a few good early fights to warm up. AG, not a squad that likes fighting early though.
Yeah. Take their time, but this is AVD now having to deal with heavy for the time being. Pablo already finds one as Mufasa gets the trade back. Pablo able to find it, looking for the last one here. Pablo's already found it, and Alan unfortunately gets the trade, but Tawan puts him into the ground, leaving into a 1v1. Gets hit by the A1, so no Riptide Rhythm access for Buhui.
A beautiful play with the A124. Buhui has to back away now. Heavy on the final survivor. Attacked by AG Global. But maybe Avida X KDC and Buriram will help Heavy out somehow by playing distraction. Avida X KDC already engaging with the AG players. And perhaps Heavy will have a lifeline here. Thanks to Avida. Already 3 eliminations Heavy as they're looking for Dew.
Yep. He's wasting a lot of Evita's time here, and finally they get the full closeout. Luckily, Evita wasn't wasting too much just chasing him around. They did send one of their members to actually hit up the vending machine to get the revives. Now we look over to Flash versus Aurora. 1v3 scenario here for McCoy. He needs to get out of here fast. Decides to hop over the wall, and now he's got a teammate to work with, and they've completely locked the entire top compound.
Well, let's see exactly how Aurora gets out of this pickle. Flash is not the most consistent squad out here, so it's a 50-50, I say, in my eyes. Wes has got the double vector. Zom, Mag 7, better gun, but no life on him as he barricades himself in, giving himself a little bit of a room to breathe. Wes just can't get to Zom just yet. When these glue walls go down, Zom's gonna have a major advantage. Here comes the narrow Valiant Dash response, but Zuez gets the surprise play.
That was, he didn't know that it was Oscar on the opposite side. It was just the roll of the dice there, whether it was the right character for the right reasons. Unfortunate indeed, and it looks like, you know, Aurora has been taking plenty of damage at this stage of the game, while Flash, again, the consistent harassing right from the first minute.
Yeah, Aurora's not too bad at all if they continue to play in this way. Used to play as Team Vamos. Right now have formed a brand new alliance. If I'm not mistaken, they have got Putra as their coach. I'll have to double check that information in a little bit. But definitely a big promising squad from Malaysia. The Axel, veteran, up against ABCD. Just not the right gun, but he gets the advantage. Knocks Axel down to the ground. Some shots to the head there to give him the extra bit of power. And my goodness, Essa was praising Axel. That was unfortunate.
Yep, real unfortunate there. The rest of Flash now control that northern side. I did see in the background that RRQ is also on the northeastern side of the map, actually rotating down to the south. Not entirely sure where this first ring is pulled towards, but at the very least, a lot of these teams not taking the early engagements, want to play for harassment more than anything. And now we look at GOW and P Esports. Looks like they've collided and opt to not start things up too soon.
And let's see if they will listen to that advice. Avida XKDC, round 2 up against Heavy. Earlier, they forced the whole squad scrambling on those revivals. Anusin spotted out already. He just doesn't get the job done with a Dragon and punished by the Mac 10. Anusin gets 1 point for himself, and Mufasa says, hell no, on the U-turn now. Heavy again under pressure. Avida is uncontrollable.
They can't do much about it, and now Heavy have to recheck the angles they thought were initially safe. With Buhui out of the picture, that UAV, not going to reveal too much here, does actually allow a couple of shots for Longkong to come through. Does he win this 1v1? First strike already on Mufasa's side. I don't know, is he in the right angle? I don't think so. And Longkong knows it, so he locks himself in, trying to buy as much time as possible as you see Mufasa realizing that he can't fight this 1v3 alone, and he doesn't have every angle covered.
Doesn't have those angles covered for sure. Vidax KDC not backing away. Mufasa's gonna pay the price here, but of course he will gladly do so. But PE Sports out by Magna. Looks like Malaysia wants to make a lot of noise this time around. A fantastic start for Magna.
Not entirely sure that happened off the camera, but we still look at this tense situation here by AVD alongside with Heavy. Finally, Heavy make the choice. We've got a vehicle. We can start moving away. Let's make our way from the eastern side to the southern side. We might be able to find some more comfortable spacings there. Oh
yeah. Axel, Aurora's right back in here, but RRQ now teasing the boys from Malaysia. Ma'al VSK, dangerous player, has got the Morse. Helped him to reposition. But can it help him get away from the shots of the Aurora squad now? They want blood and dew. As lethal as always at AWM. Didn't take him a long time at all. Buhi down on the ground. Ma'al with the VSK breaking down the defenses of Axel. But Mother Nature will stand in the way for a bit as Aurora thought they got away with that one, but Dudes just showing up with the UMP. Now Bigatron about to save Aurora here as they interfere with the fight.
Ma'al is doing his best to slow down 2 members of BTR. If he goes down here, it's going to be a lot of trouble as RRQ members run. Zeye, unfortunately stuck in a 1v4 scenario without the help of his sniper. He just has to look for picks, pull them out, and bait them into the open air.
Yeah, man. 6 eliminations strong already. RRQ looking for a big game here. Ranze, Valiant dash at the right time to get away from the shot, but takes too good for the M590. C-Bank from afar. 2 players down on the side of RRQ already. Ma'al says hasta la vista as he goes down under here with the stealth bites off of the Mars. And Bigatron on the hunt. RRQ. Of course, those revivals are going to come through easy. Bay far, far away from this region. And Ma'al now will just have to be the sacrificial lamb that Bay needs to buy back in a bit.
Yeah, but unfortunately, running down the hill, there's no choice. No matter what you do, you have to commit a glue wall or at least find any little bit of cover. Looks like Ma'al has decided, you know what, if I'm going to be out in the open, we might as well fight. Looking for a trade, doesn't find it, and he finally goes down. Luckily, because of that, allows the rest of RRQ to reposition themselves within the ring and look for a recovery phase.
Oh yeah, man. WAG. No eliminations just yet. They have kept their heads down all the way into the 7th minute. Mark now right in front of them. They spotted that squad already, but just not wanting to engage just yet. Heavy on the other hand. Off to a very slow start. Twice, no, the 3rd time! Again, Avita XKDC, they just don't want to let them go. Again, don't crowd. Avita XKDC, they've got a mission and they want to smash Team Heavy. Mufasa's out of there. Thank goodness for the nitrous.
Oh, luckily he had the nitrous. Unfortunately, Pablo was able to take him out as he was getting chased. Alan finding another vehicle of his own, looking to split the opposite direction as Buhui now making his way into Mill. I don't know if he's aware of Jun nearby, but we'll find out here because the audio should be there. Oh!
Well, the double revival came on through first. Buhui getting the job done. M24 in hand gets the first clip onto the knee. Has to back away. 49 HP. Pulls out the mini UAV and Buhui still needed a few extra seconds, but Jun just didn't want to let that go with the MP5. Gets that one elimination and Heavy again, just being forced to back away from the battle. But thankfully, they do have those team boosters on themselves, hoping to survive outside the circle a little bit longer to play recovery.
AVD has been hunting them avidly from the get-go. Heavy has not been able to recover well for a long, long time. I think this is like their 2.5 technical reset overall. They played plenty of resources just to get their boys back, and now that we're looking into that 3rd ring, I'm not so sure that this is going to be a good fight for them if they keep on resetting, right? There's not a lot of POIs that allow you to bring back your whole squad, and most of them are in intersecting points of 2 teams.
Yeah, man, you have your Predators and you have your meals. Unfortunately, Heavy in this lobby, just not a Predator, at least for this particular game, because Avita XKDC wants to play Predator, and they've got a great position at Kotatua for the next circle. Buriram, unsuspecting, quiet all lobby long. And they want to get themselves into a better defensive spot right beyond peak. WAG managing to stay silent up till now. No eliminations, just like Buriram, focusing on their looting progress.
Until we see the closure of the 2nd ring entirely. So right now, the southern side is looking phenomenal unless we see a northern side ring pull here. It'll happen in a couple of seconds, and everybody's waiting for what the next move is going to be.
Holy Lord, I asked a question, what can the new coach for Flash do? He says, we'll give you a flashy entrance into FFWS Spring 2026. 11 eliminations already for Flash. What in the world is going on? We missed all those engagements. I want to see more out of the squad, but for now, RRQ under heavy pressure by Heavy. I think this is a terrible idea. The Valiant dash working out in the favor of Mufasa. That's surprise, surprise, as he gets Ranze. But Dudes instantly buys him back. That's the only player from the side of RRQ you're going to get for now, Heavy, as the rest of them just too far away. And Heavy needs to look for the circle.
Actually, I like this idea from RRQ. You have 3 members all sitting on the outside collecting resources, knowing that they're not at their strongest. They say Ranzi in just to look for space. Even if he goes down, they're able to recover and then look to play elsewhere. This might sell the idea that the north side is completely uncontested and might give overconfidence to the teams holding it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Flashy now. Out with the UAV. Just chilling. Just playing around with the blue, not wanting to enter too early into the next zone. GOW right behind them. It's going to be a battle between the Vietnamese squads in a little. Bigatron by Vitality, on the other hand, forcing WAG to join them in a friendly little gunfight.
It's a slow moving here. Gao on the further south side has finally rotated into the next ring. I was surprised they didn't take the Pochinok side, but it looks like they're going to contest AG on the opposite side of the hill. Artillery and plenty of ordnance is being thrown over as BTR actually not too far away from this. AG making the smarter choice to back off. They have the information, and now BTR show presence, forcing Gao back. Hans paying the price.
And Buriram finally putting an end to Heavy's run. Unfortunate for those boys. 3 times is the max on that full-on revival. And just scurrying to pull themselves together. But after they came across Buriram, came to a swift end. AG Global up against GOW, playing the elevation of the hills really well. But now GOW in trouble, because right behind them, here comes Flash. But RRQ beating down on Flash one after the other, not allowing Flash to take those shots on the Gao players.
Man, they wanted to look like TV dinner. They didn't want to attract attention, and now everybody, all the rats are coming out to see what's going on and get a slice of this pie. And GOW, unfortunately, with no natural cover, will have to take the brunt of all the glue wall melters, forcing out the time turner as well. Plenty of ordinances being thrown. As you can see, the god himself able to find some headshots of his own. AG now a man down. He's trying to hold on strong, and they're still holding away because Flash is going lower and lower, forcing the angle to stretch, and Nameless loses his head because of it.
Yeah, beautiful play here, but the Flash player with a flashy exit, managing to knock down Nameless before getting taken out. That slows down AG Global, but it doesn't put an end to them just yet. GOW now just a little bit too far outside the circle, need to make their way in. AG Global doubling back. They won a big fight, and they understand that this is 3 points that Gao could give them.
They're being very resilient right now. AG are the ones with the man down, and Gao looking to kind of spread the forces apart. BTR finally backing away, allowing an opportunity for Gao to go through, and the revives from RQ might make this a little messy. Oh, no. They have to check double corners now. They're behind the box of GOW. Good luck.
Cypher not gonna get caught out just yet. Smart play by Nameless here. Ice Grenade's not gonna touch him just yet. Cypher wanting to pull off this ambush with the M590. Nameless gets annihilated, all thanks to the RGS. This backstab not gonna come through this side. Oh no, Bigatron! They reposition, and they might just spot out Cypher. That peekaboo game might not go his way.
Now BRU going to make the elevation above the A1, making it good, but RQ eventually get eliminated. WAG controlling the center of this 4th zone. Now, luckily, BTR had to make that first move, allowing GOW to actually hold on to their side of the map, and they've got plenty of angles on that top side. BTR may have made a critical mistake here, getting shot from pretty much everywhere, losing a lot of resources, and even reinforcing the glue walls to ensure their safety.
Yeah, Riptide Rhythm now from GOW, breaking down the defenses of Bigatron, forcing them towards the opposite side. But that puts Bigatron in a great spot as they spot out Magna. God nades raining down on them, and Magna out in 7. Bigatron using that high ground advantage, thanking GOW now for inviting them to move on to the opposite side. But will they be able to take GOW out of the equation here? AG still waiting for revenge to play peekaboo with GOW.
So here's what we know. GOW doesn't really have to move. Same goes for AG Global, and AG unfortunately don't have much of a choice in this scenario. AVD on the opposite side, somehow getting some decent shots in, and they finally find Cypher. GOW now dominate the southern side, but that one compound is causing too many problems. If BTR don't get cleared off that top side, everybody's gonna take punishment.
Yeah, let's see if or not they're gonna do exactly that. Demon shuts down Joel. Gao's still doing so well in this fight. And Lightning Zone called upon by one of these squads. Whoever's out in the open, they are gonna be teased for sure. Varos with a sliver of health gets shut down by Demon as he just blasts through him with the Valiant Dash. AG Global now out in 6.
Oh, GOW, they somehow need to get under, but unfortunately there's just too much pressure, and BRU are taking the opposite ends, making sure that they can cover that top end side. They don't want to be part of this. Rosana, he just needs to live as long as possible. The nade comes, connects just a little bit, but not enough to knock. GOW forcing a full engagement against WAG, who's moving out of the compound.
Yeah, great positioning by Avida XKDC. They had the best spot in that compound for the circle. Totally untouched by everybody else, but now at a disadvantage as the circle starts to move towards the Bigatron players. One after the other, everybody under pressure. Gao being preyed on by the WAG players and out in 5th. Gao could not complete that run. WAG just in the better spot here as Avida XKDC circles around, perhaps looking to stab Buriram in the back.
Unlucky. How does BTR still have all 4 of their members still alive in the most compromised position? These rotations have been good. And now they find BRU in the middle of it all, knocking them out in 4th place, leaving our top 3.
This is now a game of chess. Who moves first? Avita x KDC should be out. Where is Avita x KDC? Who hired this observer? Bro, we need to look at the opposite side because this battle is not going anywhere between Bigatron and WAG. Nan7 has got the right idea, firing at the Avita x KDC players as they try to reposition. Tikui dropping down. They're out in the open. How in the world did they survive all of those shots? Because only one player thought of focusing on the position of Avita x KDC, and they might just have a big chance here. Tossed in a nade, and now the ice grenades come on through. Bigatron by Vitality, back it away, playing the elevation to their advantage.
Holy cow, they're just reinforcing their glue walls time after time after time, and this is what's allowing them to hold out for so long, not allowing any value from the Ordnance. Now, throwing nades back against ABD, and this allows WAG to actually move in for an all-in, looking to try and beat this. Fortunately, Nahan is the first to go, and ABD still at full fighting strength will eliminate the last member of WAG, unless Dix has something to say here. That's PLS1. What a call from AVD. They back away. Give over that one elimination. It's a squad v squad.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Avita x KDC just with a better positioning here. But now Bigatron by Vitality. The ones that started it off all for the Indonesian squads in the tier 2 to show them that it was possible. Now taking on the ones from Thailand who want to prove the exact same as well. Anusid on the right-hand side flank. Long right inside with the Trogon. Gets Nix down on the ground. It's now Pablo versus Sibang. M590. Koja says hello. And it is not going to be possible for this Cassie to get that pickup. And Koja finishes him as well, leaving Anusid all alone on the side of Avita. And Bigatron secures Booyah #1.
Dang, how did they do it? What an awful position they were initially, but their loadouts apparently, something's different about it. How did they hold out for that long? Were they just connecting more shots, or was this a more technical aspect of the team's loadout?
Pablo, man, I don't think the electrotherapy was working at the right time there. Either he activated the electrotherapy a little bit too early, or he didn't just click it on time, because that was a crucial battle up against the Bigatron players. And without the extra life, you're just not going to have your frontliner get the job done. Anusid wasn't in the right position to play those clutch angles by the sniper of the squad. And Bigatron by Vitality overwhelmed them. If there's that one advantage that Bigatron by Vitality had in that final sequence of event, it was the sniper Joel, who flanked around towards the left, not allowing Avita to spread out within that final circle.
Yeah, honestly, it could have been Avita or even BRU in that final position.
Oh, yeah.
That's the scary part, right? Both of them were contesting for that last outer circle, and eventually, unfortunately, the BRU members may have caught on to a lot of smoke from WAG and BTR in the middle of the conflict.
I mean, this is Avita x KDC on their very first run here at the FFWS C level. Bigatron by Vitality, on the other hand, they already made their breakthrough back in 2024, and they've been pretty consistent on this tier 1 run so far. But Avita x KDC just made that look like no joke at all, right? As if they had not missed a single day compared to Bigatron by Vitality. In fact, they owned everybody else out there on the battlefield. Even the players of Buriram did not manage to get very far.
Well, I'm talking about the one team. I want to talk about the one team that faced them the most. Heavy, unfortunately for them, just could not recover as AVD was just really avid on hunting this one squad down. Yeah. But I think the one thing that really sets them apart, and based on the current moves we've seen so far today, AVD know when to just say it's time to go. There's no need to get in. If Heavy is by themselves, let's eat them up and farm them for points. If there's anybody else, we really don't need to go out of our way.
Yeah, Seafall 2025 Heavy, they were the runner-up, right? I mean, they won big last year before heading into the global finals. So I think Heavy is absolutely fine, because early parts of our group stage, early parts of how we set up the finals for FFWSC, Heavy has proven time and time again that they're capable of sneaking into the finals. They have what it takes. But to get to that second spot, last year was the first time we saw them rise to the occasion. This year, I think a little bit off to a slow start. So back to their old version once again. I wasn't wanting that. I wanted to see, improvement tournament after tournament. But let's see exactly what they have. I mean, because even PE Esports, even WAG, they've had these ups and downs within the region itself.
I agree, and I think it really just comes down to the openers for a lot of Vietnamese squads. Once they get a good opener, things naturally start to snowball, and it helps them scale into the mid and as well as the late stages of the game. And I mean, GOW got pretty close there. The same can be said about AG. It was very awkward position to be in that final circle with basically little to no cover to play once we got into the 3rd or 4th ring. But I think it really goes to show that the current patchwork, you can see that everybody is just making sure if you can lock down a position, you really need to minimize the damage you take.
Yeah, Gao just did so much better than Heavy in last year, right? Even when you look at how they performed towards the final parts of the year, Seafall, they placed 6th, in the global finals on 8th as well. But taking a look at some of the highlights off of this match, man, we had quite a number of eliminations out there by the looks of it, Gideon.
Yep, a lot of harassing. We don't get to see too many all-ins. I think it was only 1 or 2 squads who were looking for the big all-ins, but now we get to see the loadout here. How have they been able to hold out for so long? Nothing too out of the ordinary. I like the fact that they're going for the more, so that's been a really big thing for a lot of sniper players to actually opt into these days, but they even bring in the A124. They're not running the raid, they're running A124, Oscar, Nero, and Morse.
Yeah, and the A124, we've seen exactly how capable it is in some tense situations to help the squad just survive. If it wasn't for that, I think Bigatron would have lost their lives a little bit too early in the fight. And overall, Koja just doing well for his squad to pick up on those numbers. But when it comes to the effort, you can see everybody was just throwing in everything that they could. 5 eliminations, 6 knockdowns off of Dix as well. Not too much on the damage, but he made up for the rest of the department.
Very nicely played overall by BTR. Really risky. I still can't get over the fact that was such a big coin flip there. It could have been anybody's game. We might see more of these types of coin flips depending on the final rings, but so far this has been slightly unorthodox, a slightly unorthodox late game. We'll see whether in game number 2, or at least with the next map, we get a little more action coming into the early and mids, because it feels like everybody is quickly just jotting down the landing zones. They're like, all right, this is a fresh new plate. It's like scrims all over again. Let's quickly analyze.
Yeah, it's also a brand new meta, right? Because finally the snipers are back in the driver's seat. This particular run in Free Fire right now is going to be dominated or dictated by the snipers. So you're not going to see a lot of open ground rotations because of what the snipers on the Southeast Asian level can do. But let's take a look at some of the numbers here. Bigatron by Vitality maintaining their #1 spot through the Booyah, and thanks for the Booyah, because or else Avida XKDC just doing better than them on the elimination department would have definitely overtaken if they hustled a little bit more. But 25 points in the first game to open up this season is fantastic for the first timers of Avida XKDC.
That's a confidence booster for sure. But when we're talking about points as well, even Flash was putting up quite the numbers. 3rd when it comes to the most eliminations so far in this first game alone, and that's with only 1 placement point. So I would imagine that things are going to start looking a little more exciting as we get into the 2nd and 3rd map. We'll see whether they'll stick to their aggressive ways or whether they learn their lesson in those next 2.
Yeah, man. I mean, Avida XKDC, let's see if or not they can pull in big numbers like these if they do not keep bumping into heavy, right? Because I think we didn't really get to see a lot of flavor out of Avida XKDC. It was just the repeat of bumping into the exact same squad. When they were thrown out into slightly more open battles, I think the final circle, they handled it really well, and they show a lot of promise even up against the big squads, even though Bigatron by Vitality had a great position on that high ground. I'm so impressed that they were not able to take down Avida XKDC. But of course, for some reason, our camera angle was just stuck onto one perspective, so we couldn't actually see what Avida was doing to survive. But I say they didn't really have a lot of defenses, so that was some pretty impressive maneuvering off of Avida.
It's just casual push and pull, right? Our POV was what Avida was looking at the entire time, just looking at one compound and all the teams who are trying to peek out and covering as many angles as possible, especially on that lower ground where they already had boots on the ground to eventually rush back out. Oh boy, I don't know. I'm still questioning it whether or not Vita can make this happen again. Some slight adjustments from a couple of teams. I feel like in terms of the decisions that were made throughout, it's really when it comes down to Aurora and alongside with Magna, how they need to handle that early to mid transition. For the side of Heavy, they just need a better early game. Esports is the one that I don't know how they died off camera. I don't know how they got jumped by Magna all of a sudden.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a few things that happened out there in the lobby because we were just not watching how things were breaking down. Fingers crossed we get that sorted out so we can hop onto all of the action out here. But understandably so in terms of the difficulty of catching on to some of this action, because the kind of fire that we have here on the Southeast Asian League is just unbelievable, right? So many capable squads, even the underdogs, even the first timers like Avida XKDC are just ripping the lobby apart. But this is one squad, or at least a bunch of players that do have a little bit of experience playing Free Fire esports for many years, but they just haven't been able to really make a long run into the global finals consistently because of consistent re-rosters.
Yeah, the consistent re-rosters is one thing, but it's come to a point where it feels like we've already hit a ceiling for a majority of our players. Until we start seeing new talent getting pumped out of Malaysia, or at least a different angle, like a certain hunger, some kind of ambition from these teams, and a lot of personal sacrifice if they want to get to the level that some of these teams have already achieved over the past 3 years.
Yeah, man, I mean, I totally agree on the hunger part. I think we've got a lot of players. I think we've got a lot of good players, but I don't think we've got enough hungry players like what you see out of Vietnam, what you see out of Thailand. I mean, the hunger of these guys to go out there, prove themselves. And it's not like you're proving yourself just for a bunch of likes on social media, right? You've got a lot of money on the table. You've got $100,000 potentially waiting to be deposited into your team's bank account. And that's like close to $500,000 ringgit if you're Malaysian.
Hey, wait until you qualify for EWC, and then we start talking in the millions, and that's where it gets interesting, right? And I think this is such a big risk. It's like throwing your, buying a lotto ticket and hoping that you win the jackpot against millions of others, right? With so many changing variables, I would only imagine that these teams coming into map number 2, it's the same mentality as map number 1, but I really want to see if any of these teams, right, want to start changing it up every single game, like alternating whether they want to play safe strategies or more aggressive strategies each and every time, because again, all the matches matter. They're playing for placements here.
And that was just game number 1, and I think FFWSC is living up to its usual promise. It's as chaotic as ever. It is just absolutely difficult to determine who's going to go out there and dominate consistently game after game. And I love that, right? Because if we had the kind of league where you're just going to have 1 or 2 dominators who are just consistently up at the top, it just really takes the fun out of everything. We're about to hop on into game number 2. Is it going to be the exact same names, exact same teams getting down to the very final circle? Let's see as we hop on into map number 2.
Oh boy, everybody needs to get ready for this unless they want to unleash that fire. Hop on to the private jet as we look at the upcoming flight path. We're hoping that it's going to be neutral, just so that we have a good idea of how these teams want to play before we get the wacky stuff. I'm only going to assume it's going to happen later in the day, but welcome everybody as we make our way over to the city of the future. It's Nexterra.
Yeah, Nexterra time. And time to strike some terror into the hearts of your opponents. From one side down to Intellect Center, opening up the full map here for all the squads, but I'm still expecting some hot drops out here. Esports, RRQ, Avida XKDC, GOW. Will one of you get us what we are looking for? RRQ and Avida might just answer to that call.
Yep. I'm keeping an eye on the 3 major POIs on the map. Between Boxing Gym, Zipway, and Farmtopia, we're expecting a lot of the teams to be rotating to that side, but we'll find out first. As teams have already dropped, AVD now putting their eyes on RRQ.
Are you ready for the big time?
Whoa!
Avida XKDC, RRQ will ask some big questions here. Ma'al the sniper, just not having the right gun for the situation. Tawan takes him down with the MP5. Dudes now found as well. The boys on the side of RRQ being ripped apart one after the other. Abe has a great gun here, but overwhelmed. The numbers are just a little bit too much. RRQ has got one final survivor. Runse getting close to the vending machine. Can he hit that revival? Abe buying time. Lock him down. It's a double for Abe. As Pablo finally sorts that out, Runze picking up those coins. He needs this revival, gets to the vending machine and buys an insurance policy for RRQ as they get the ground wiped with the faces of their members. Avida x KDC taking on RRQ in this surprise 50-50 and winning it. And now PE Esports down to say hello, but Avida wants none of it.
If we're assuming, we've already made the hypothesis that Avida, they jump down, they clash fast, as soon as they see those revives, or at the very least see some weakness, they're probably going to turn their heads. Now we see Runze managing to take down LBT, which is great for them. That's already going to be 1 point for them, but it doesn't mean that it's a full commitment just yet. All the RQ members are already back up to speed, and looks like we lose Gao in the meantime.
Wow, Runze is so impressive. I mean, just surviving this compound, bumping into the PE Esports players one after the other. And now the next one in contention will be Nolan. M590 fights, but here comes the SMG. P90 in the hands of Nolan. Runze, opportunity to surprise everyone once again. Needs a headshot though in this situation. Backs away. Nero coming in to assist. And the assist will be delivered perfectly with the M590 in his own hands. PE Esports overwhelm the survivor and reviver of RRQ.
Now AG having to deal with Aurora, and it looks like Aurora have a pretty good split here. They've already taken out Cypher. Nameless was the next to fall, and they also have high ground, so plenty of space to play. We come back to RQ, back on the farming spree, just, you know, having a good time.
Well, Aurora doing well up against AG Global in this circumstance. Axel finding Dew, Baros Mini Uzi, just not the right gun for the situation. Max 7 is going to cook him. And that's about it for AG Global on their final run through Nameless here. It's quite broke, so he needs those coin machines. But Aurora, 7 elimination strong early game.
Very, very good early game, in a matter of fact. We'll see how they're going to take this momentum later into the game as well. Most teams not really pushing too far out from their early engagement zones, or at least looking to third party. We now wait upon the blue to close in and reveal the second ring. And this is going to mean a lot for anybody who's currently sitting in the center, right?
Oh, yeah.
Some teams prefer to play on the outside, and it looks like AVD has opted for that playstyle too. Looks like there is resistance on the opposite end, though.
Nani? Rematch, but just for one player. Abe, you better stay down, brother. Avida x KDC circling around, just hovering around the jump pad, wondering if or not they should use the vehicle. PE Sports right behind. Long Kong, do you spot them? He sees the glue walls, calls upon Tawan. Tawan getting closer. Avida wants a fight.
Long Kong, he's calling to the rest of his teams, where are my attack dogs at? And now Tawan looking to hold the ground and setting up the battle lines. UAV to kick things off to double check the POI and realizes there's only one member and he's running away. With Maal making, Abe making the shots here. He's gonna jump and run.
Well, Abe just was waiting for that opportunity. Avida didn't use the jump pad, but he wanted it, so he had to wait it out. And PE Sports just helped Abe out big time by pulling in that distraction, and great decision making from PE Sports to not engage in a disadvantageous situation up against Avida x KDC, who was looking very bloodthirsty in that moment there. WAG on for the rotation, but possibly the engagement up against AG and Heavy. Well, let's go, says Wangam.
They didn't fully clear out Mufasa here. Wangam now finding on top of the signposts, and ideally Mufasa can get some shots in and take Buhui out. Wangam unfortunately doesn't find it, but Buhui still gets knocked down due to fall damage.
Man was just trying his best to survive there. Heavy up against WAG, but Don't Cry just blasting through them with the M590. This is GG.
Oh, no.
Wang, what are you gonna do? They went in there for the big time commitment, and Heavy now just waiting for him to get his butt down.
That's so crazy, especially in the position they were. Like, they could have double-checked whether or not Mufasa had crossed the river, and they ended up going into the rest of his reinforcements while Mufasa ended up finding a flank somehow. Like, that should not happen for WAG's side. A poor choice in the decision there, but, it's just one of those things that you let slip by.
I mean, there's a vending machine right down below. Heavy backs away. WAG can survive.
Does he have the money, though? I mean, they know that he's still up there. They've got Alan on, Duck Watch here.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, okay, he drops.
Oops.
Okay, you should
One
get the
blue wall,
bridges
two
here.
blue walls, double revive. Let's go. WAG. Heavy. Alan just drops by to say, oh, hello. Thank you so much for bringing 2 more points for us. We're going to hunt down the rest of your brothers as well. RRQ bumping into Magna.
Casual job's done, and RRQ finally getting back on their feet. They've got weapons, they've got plenty of resources. 16 medkits held by Dudes alone. Does he not need any other util? Now, let's look at where the next ring is going to pull. Oh, towards Plazaria Boxing Gym. That's gonna suck for everybody on the northern, northeast side and north side.
This is Buriram now. I mean, not getting as far as they wanted to in that first game. Dinoculus just going to scan out the compound ahead of them. Just focusing on the looting progress here. Not wanting the heat off of anybody else. I hear a couple of gunshots towards the Buriram players. Maybe somebody's asking for trouble and Buriram's heading straight towards them.
Looks like RRQ looking to keep their backs clear. They're going to make a double pass on that northern side, and WAG looks to be the one who's contesting the space. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're aware of the 3 members on the ground making their way to the bridge side, but are they aware of Ma'al on the highway?
Bella Bay is down. Ma'al is up. Either way, WAG will have a lot of stress here to deal with the situation because it is spread out like butter. And RRQ is going to have a field day just picking them off one after the other. WAG not looking good with the numbers here and the potential survival rate.
You ever get the feeling that Dudes needs to give himself verbal confirmation before he takes a shot? He has to tell himself, like, that's a guy. That's definitely a guy. And then hits the nastiest headshot. In the meantime, at least for RRQ, they're still looking for the WAG members. They will be able to actually loot themselves up some extra weaponaries here, but they haven't really cleared out the WAG members, so job's not done yet.
I don't think a lot of thinking goes into it. It's just reflex. Ooh, player. Boom, headshot. 3i! Up to it again. Didn't get the headshot this time round, but took away enough of that life of a Pikui to give this advantage. Oh, yeah, 91st shot does not find the connection of Bay. Gets the job done. Lightning zone called upon RRQ by WAG now to save their buddies. I think this is just a waste of money.
Yeah, a bit of a waste of money, but hey, at least Abe was aware enough to see the landmines up in the front and decided to take the opposite way. You know what? Maybe Dudes doesn't have the inner monologue. That's why he has to verbally confirm.
Well, maybe.
That would be even funnier if he actually didn't have the inner monologue. Wow, this is quite the long walk all the way from Motor, all the way down into the next ring, and I'm pretty sure it's about to close at this point, right? It's like 9:30. Yeah, it's about to close.
Garina's gonna beef up the blue zone very, very soon. I'm very sure because blue zone right now is just tickling everyone, barely doing any damage. All thanks to the team boosters.
It's different every single year, man. It's one of those oversights that it's like, oh no, we gave them too much survivability. Let's increase the blue zone. And then they reduce the blue zone and reduce down everybody's survivability. It changes every year, man. And for RQ, this is something that they played before. I think this is like what? The same, well, not exactly the same strat as 2 years ago, but of the sort of healing outside of the blue for as long until what? Ring 3 into 4?
Let's see if Flash will get a freebie here. Both squads outside the circle. But as we have discussed, the circle only tickles at this. Oh, what a dinocular scan. 4 players spotted out. And Heavy wants a big meal. They want their 10th elimination point off of Flash here. Is your sniper ready? Alan, spotting out those players with the cord. Mufasa struck down. And this is a great time purchase here by ABCD and his buddy. 2 free points. The God and Zom is here as well. Flash actually wants to take this fight.
Okay, I feel like they have no choice at this point. Rather, it looks like they do have options. They just launched themselves out of there. The UAV's good spot nothing. There's one of the heavy members, I'm pretty sure it's Buhoy, who spotted it out, looking to chase him down. Yep, it's the Zom.
I'm still in disbelief that they wanted that fight. What a shot there, the Kar 98. Nan 7 had none chance to survive that one. Revival for Flash. Don't drop by RRQ. It's a bad idea. Well, guy doesn't know. As he finds his spot on the bridge. Heavy on the other hand. Getting chased down by the Magna players. About to bump into a Flash player at the vending machine. As Mink gets brought back in. Zom's probably gonna have to pay a big price for the revival.
It's heavy, just consistently having to run here. Despite having 9 eliminations, they need to regroup together. And right now, it's a little messy as Magna has cut them, split them in half. Alan gonna try his best, already trying to get one. Takes out Winzy. Virus tries to respond, ends up going down anyways, so don't cry. Now Getbu and Dria, they have to make the best of this. Oh, the lightning almost catching Getbu. Managing to get into the compound in time as Heavy looking to surround.
Oh, beautiful play by Heavy this time round on the lightning zone. Boltmaker used at the right time. They've got the great big advantage here. Up against Magna. But time is running out. Everybody has rushed into that compound. And this is trouble time. As Flash decides to get involved in this fight as well. WAG, on the other hand, hanging on with their final player. Vending machine is there. A single revival is all he could afford.
LS1 on his feet at the very least. Magna, majority of the members are getting eliminated out inside the blue. Everybody is taking huge taxes walking into the 4th ring. No profits today. Heavy still, with the majority of their members managing to actually crawl back into the edge of the ring, and they still have a clear path to get into the last zone.
Yeah, Buriram's at it again. They're not practicing to dominate the lobby. They're practicing to find booyahs for themselves. And I say that's one damn good way to dominate big competitions. Especially when you've got Champion Rush in question. Avida X KDC up against Aurora. What can this A do to the other A's? Who is backing away? Glue wall all beefed up. But the Avida players now are being welcomed to the top floor. The one down, Azriel, AC80 straight to the head. And now Zuez, they're going for the backstep, but great glue walls by Avida to block off that entry. And make sure the players of Aurora are slowed down. Now Cryo Mind Play. June going for the backstab. Anusin spots him. It's all about Pablo now. Here comes the nade. Azriel down on the ground. And the Max 7 of Avida showing Aurora who's boss.
Unfortunately, Aurora may have preemptively made a move. It was a good idea, and now they're at a 2-man disadvantage. At this point, they're just looking to tank as much as they can. June on the run as the rest are trying to make it within the ring to find their zone. Pablo quickly walking back out. They're expecting a lot of revives actually coming down. If they look up into the sky, they should see 3 to 4. See that Pablo and Tawan able to make it into the ring. BTR taking shots at them. Natural cover is not safe. They must make a choice now.
Yeah, this is where you get to see exactly how good Avida is. Now out in open grounds. Oh, here comes the Cryomite. Avida actually wants the fight. They take it straight to big in front by Vitality. Boys dropping their health right back up, but Pablo, a sliver of Valiant, knocked down by the Valiant Dash. Digs in and out quickly. And now Anusit left all alone on the side of Avida. The circle finally not just tickling, but doing the damage it should be putting onto all of these players. And I guess this is the end of the road for Avida on this game number 2.
Oh, poor Avida. Poor Avida. They're doing so many things correct. Now we look at the other members. Weren't able to find an early spot here in ring number 5. BCR, BRU happily taking pot shots, and even AG having a wide spread on that northern side. Now the ring will start moving to that northern side, and AG, they are supposed to act as gatekeepers unless BTR decide to make that side of the wall collapse.
AG Global backing away. Buriram still active. Staying clear from this engagement between AG as well as Bigatron by Vitality. Bigatron, the consistency in the day is looking good. Looking to dominate that number 1 spot on the leaderboard. Looking for this back-to-back booyah for themselves.
Oh, they don't need to do much here. They've already forced AG into the second floor. BTR can just take the compound on the opposite end. This is 3 floors worth of action here, and BRU have opted to not mirror BTR, but instead go onto the opposite flank. At this point, BTR make the smart choice. They go into the second compound on the opposite end, taking as many shots here as Wasana and the rest of BRU control the bottom leg of the first compound.
Oh, this is going to be a big fight here for AG, but Bigatron actually helping out Buriram here. Getting that knock onto the AG player. Bigatron has got this high ground, and AG are now stuck. They can't go down. If they go up, they put themselves in the crosshairs of Bigatron. They gotta play this timing right. Cypher getting through the window. Sibeng and Koja playing the pressure. Glue Wall Melter will remove the defenses of Bigatron on the outer part of their compound. And this gives AG a little bit of breathing space.
They don't need to do anything. BTR just needs to hold their position. They control a large chunk of the center of the map. Nameless finally finding one and securing one. Wasana and Moshi to fend off themselves as Joda gets intercepted here. And AG, full 4, should be able to clean this up. Depending on how much damage Moshi and Wasana do, this could ruin the odds. And it looks like AG are not willing to take that risk anymore. Just cover the flank. Let's keep playing safe. We know that BTR has the better position.
In the history of me as a shoutcaster for Free Fire, this is the first time the cam is making me tune into this heated battle of Buriram from very fixed angles. Now, I've got no idea what active skills are available on the side of the Buriram players, but with the way they are playing, they're surely on cooldown, waiting to play. A lot of advantage with that high ground. Moshi takes down Nameless. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Just 3 more players. Kyong makes it easy. Baros taken out. And now AG Global in a 2v2 up against Buriram. Can Buriram make this a 2v2v2 by taking down the players of Bigatron right opposite here? They've got those angles to play with.
Unfortunately, I think it might take too long to actually commit all their resources into getting placement points if they try to eliminate AG. They guarantee themselves second. If they want a chance at first, they got to help a little bit with alongside with AG to find a pick onto BTR. And that's due down. Now BRU have one simple goal. Take out Cypher, they guarantee themselves second.
Oh, free cam. Master. Oi, Wasana, says Peekaboo. Valiant Dash gets him that one knock, but now Sibeng, the shot from up top. Koja, advantage with the max 7, and Wasana wipes Bigatron with a back-to-back booyah on day 1 here.
They're looking hot. They're looking like they're on fire, but most of all, they are making the better decisions on the fly here. Really clean stuff coming in from BTR. Glad to see that they are making continuous correct decisions, because every single time they say yes on a good choice, it just compounds further and further into the game.
Spring, they placed 3rd. They got the podium finish. They went on to the Esports World Cup last year. They got the podium finish on the 3rd spot. Bigatron by Vitality has been looking good, but more importantly, that confidence has been growing. In C4, perhaps not the best run for themselves. A little bit of a Debbie Downer as far as the global finals was concerned. But this is Bigatron by Vitality telling us very clearly they are back for some good points.
They're here to play. They truly are here to play. And I think the scariest part about them is the fact that they are not willing to back down from like a disadvantageous fight, which is kind of strange, right? Because we're seeing that happen more often with a lot more teams. The choice being like, I refuse to go down and start farming back those coins. We're gonna fight here whether you like it or not.
I mean, you gotta respect what Bigatron has done. This is no luck. This is back-to-back consistency. Even Buriram could not get themselves into the best position to play that final circle 2 games in a row. Something that Bigatron has sorted out. Bigatron also had a big fight up against Avida XKDC that was raging in the lobby. They sorted them out. WAG, no problem. AG's shots with those angles with Dew. This is Dew season. Even he could not get the job done. This is very impressive off of Bigatron.
It really is impressive off of Bigatron. But we also got to look back at what BRU is doing, right? Because again, we're expecting them to be kind of the litmus test, the baseline of what all the other teams should be aspiring to get to. And I think that you mentioned it very well. They're looking to play for those booyahs, so the amount of interaction and clashes that they have personally are actually on the lower side. So in both map 1 and map 2, it really just came down to one bad fight where they lost more members than they probably should.
And that's horrible if you're Buriram, because look at Bigatron. They are getting it done on all angles, right? With the positioning, with the numbers that they're collecting off of these lives, and also the consistent back-to-back booyah. They are playing Buriram right now. They are playing like Buriram, how everybody expects Buriram to play. Whatever that Buriram's trying to guarantee for themselves, I think it's just not going to be enough if they want to dominate this season. But of course, we have seen the very best from them. They are the current defending champions on the global stage, waiting for the qualifier of their own into the Esports World Cup as well. And I think they've got a fair, good amount of time to rise in the competition. It's just the second game of day number 1 here, Gideon.
But of course, I do want to see the final scores at the end of the day, just to get a bit of the litmus test, because I think consistently, both in map 1 and map 2, we've seen that, I'm not sure in map number 2 whether Heavy was able to find double digits worth of eliminations, but I think there are a pretty good litmus test of how many points you should be getting within a game on average, because if BRU is netting higher points than them, then clearly, even if you fight that many times, the placement points is just more reliable to secure.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I think Heavy was playing a much better game in the second match. I think we saw them around 15 eliminations by the time they got eliminated from that run. So in the overall grand scheme of things, the recovery from Heavy has been very impressive. But they were unfortunate because they got taken out of the run way too early. So not a lot of placement points, but it's a fantastic recovery game for them. What I'm in disbelief of is how Bigatron by Vitality scored 14 eliminations in the Booyah on the first game and not double, but became even more aggressive in Nexterra. They got 17 eliminations to complete this game. Fantastic stuff. Let's check out the highlights, man.
Hopefully we get to see some of the BTR movements here, right? Because again, the reason why they got so many eliminations this time is because they were winning really key fights. Like, you kind of don't have a choice in certain areas where you have to go for the all-in, and it feels like so far Dix has won out a majority of his 50-50s.
Yeah, he most definitely has. And if you look at the top elimination here, Dix with the 7 eliminations, Zuez, Koja, ABCD, Allen getting into the top 5 as well. Not a lot of eliminations, I would say, overall in the top predators of the lobby, apart from Zuez as well as Dix. But we've seen bigger numbers for sure. What's more impressive instead of these numbers is the consistency of a Bigatron. I think their positioning has been flawless. This time they play on that Zane, Oscar, Cassie, Morse, a little bit different from what they brought into that first game with the A124. This is Bigatron trying out different strats, different metas, just to see exactly how far they can go. And I dare say with what they have pulled off on Nexterra, the numbers, this is looking like a well-suited gameplay off of active skills.
Yeah, no, it fits their playstyle. I think now that they have access to Morse now, they can basically sell the idea that they're pushing as 3, having no idea where their sniper is going to be. And then when it's too late, guess what? It's a 4-on-1 scenario, 4-on-2 scenario, and Simnek is already in your flank. So I like the way that BTR, they knew that they wanted to be a sword instead of the shield. I just like the variance of the ways that they can attack a team.
Dix and Koja playing on the Oscar as well as Zane. The Valiant dashes, we saw the number of times that it's made a difference in a lot of these, encounters. And speaking of encounters, the extreme encounter for Zane, giving Koja the kind of sustainability that he wants to have on that front line. Surprisingly, he also was playing the Antonio. He had the Shani on him. He had the Joseph. So great big defense on those front lines for the side of the Bigatron by Vitality player. 29 points to close off a big second game at Nexterra.
Yep, Heavy in second, 15 eliminations, just 2 points behind them in terms of raw eliminations. And then you compare them to BRU, who held out for so long, only netting themselves 15. So as long as Heavy is getting into these 15 points, they don't care too much about the placements, as they'll naturally compound with the number of eliminations that they have. Overall, though, Aurora even came out with 12 eliminations of their own. So we're seeing teams who are not only holding out, but fighting proactively at the top end of the leaderboards.
Yeah, this is a very big improvement from Aurora, scoring 9 points in Bermuda, and now a massive 19 for the second game is going to boost them up to the 4th spot on the overall leaderboard. Bigatron still looking very impressive, followed by the 2 squads out of Thailand. AG Global hasn't found their rhythm just yet, surprisingly. This is a good run from Aurora. I'm hoping to see this continue because, again, it's filled with players who are veterans in the Free Fire esports scene within Malaysia, but chemistry-wise, they have to figure out exactly what they need out there to consistently dominate. As you can see, the placement points, it's not really on the high side here. Aurora, I don't think they can only depend on those eliminations if they want to stay at the top.
Agreed. Unless they're breaking into like 15 eliminations plus like heavy, it's a little difficult to achieve overall, because even BRU not having as many elimination points, those placement points carry them over just a little bit ahead, and arguably a little less work because of how little engagements they actually take.
Yeah, man. And of course, this is just the first 2 games. We've got Purgatory coming up for this next one, and it's going to be the exact same grouping throughout the whole day. So the warm-up for some of these players, some of these squads were still struggling. I think they can, we can write off the first 2 games, but we've got 4 more to go. The day is just getting started here, Gideon.
The day is just getting started. I want to say, because out of all the maps, if we're really saying that those open wide field, those big rotations will get punished by snipers, I think this is the map where we're going to see the most amount of headshots. This is assumptions, of course. We don't know. That first minute could just be every team all dropping for the same spot. It's tough to say.
Yeah, it's most definitely tough to say. In terms of the consistency from the squads at the top, I think it has been impressive. In terms of Bigatron, kind of because I wonder, are they experimenting for the kind of active skills that they're going to be sticking to for the rest of the competition? Or are they thinking of changing up their playstyles according to these maps, right? That's definitely one thing to look into as well. It's going to be quite a curious question in my head until the end of this day. We've got 6 more matches. I hope to catch a little bit of a peek into all of their active and passive skills by the time we get to the end of the day here, Gideon.
Yep. I am a little curious to see whether or not the usage of Morse over the Riptide Rhythm for a lot of these snipers, right? Because that has been like a bit of an interesting shift for some of these snipers to be like, oh, I don't care about the glue walls anymore. They're harder to get rid of. At least this time round, I can just reposition and most of the time find the headshot anyway. So I'm not sure whether or not it's going to be enough, especially for this upcoming game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, the Moss has been very dangerous, looking at how the snipers are a little bit more beefed up in the current meta of OV53. And if you can reposition, find a spot out there that the angles are going to be dealing those dead shots to your opponents, it's going to be putting your team in a fine spot. Alternatively, could be putting you out in a very rough spot for survival. We got to see exactly how well the stealth bikes are abused out here as we head on into Purgatory, game number 3 of day number 1.
Alright, let's see how these teams are going to unleash, because now we finally get a little bit of a skewed flight path more towards the south, the east and southern side between Central along to the middle of Ski Lodge. The northern parts, Moathouse, as well as Crossroads, can take a little bit of time to actually make your way all the way over there, but this would mean that a lot of these teams are kind of compact towards that southern side.
Most definitely Ski Lodge will house Magna for the time being. Bigatron by Vitality has got a big compound to play with at Forge. And I do believe they are going to go hunting down for the Magna players in a little bit. WAG in a very early skirmish up against AG. Barros is not the best guns to have a very early game, but it is a fair fight since everybody's on that mini Uzi from the drop. The A124 was played by Barros, but he was overwhelmed by the numbers here on the side of WAG.
Now, the northern side of Brasilia, a little scary, because whoever lands directly inside of Brasilia tends to make their move towards the high ground on the northern part if the fights take too long. But here by Mount Villa, GOW faces against Aurora, and unfortunately Aurora losing majority of their members. These micro Uzis are good, and the Axel unfortunately can't deal with 4 of them on the opposite side.
Now, he most definitely can't. GOW is coming in for the chase. Axel gets 1 shot onto death. And he knows he's going to be in trouble, man. That has to force a drop here. He doesn't do that. Demon is punished. Smart play by Axel. And it looks like Gao still wants to get a little bit of revenge here. So we will get a round 2 on them in a little bit. Axel making sure Demon is not picked up in that situation. Avita X KDC in for a little bit of revenge play on RRQ. Could not get the plushie through the wall. Abe has to back away. Smart play off of the cryo mine on the side of Avita.
Holding off that position, making sure that they can't reinforce it as well. They knew that RRQ was going to be a man down. They quickly saw that revive come through, and that's what gave them the confidence to throw the cryo mine. Now, it's all about whether or not they can control the outside here of this compound. Ranzei quickly drops down to the blue wall in time, has the Australian dash out of there. Tawan ends up trading against Ranzei. He's trying in the 1v1 against Dutz, ends up losing. It's with a quarter of his HP, needs to try and deny Long Kong. Now, too late. Long Kong able to get at least one revive onto Tawan.
Oh, Long Kong needs to go get the job done here. But he chooses for survival.
Thanks, bye.
Nitrous is there. RQ. Ma'al does not have the sniper that he usually carries. If he did, Long Kong would be long gone.
Oh man, unfortunate. But RQ very happy. They're at the edge of the ring. They're at Central. They can now just casually loot up. And if there's plenty of POIs to play with on this side, with the even an arsenal nearby, just in case. For the time being, it's going to be a pretty chill moment for RRQ.
Absolutely, and Bigatron by Vitality. Number 1 squad within this lobby right now. On the hunt, and PE Esports might just be the next victim here. I think they've spotted them out already and just now going in for the chase. Binoculars used fairly early, just making sure nobody's hiding behind those trees as they make this approach.
They're just sweeping this entire forest on the northern side of the water body. Now they're even checking their northern side as well for POIs, making sure that they are doing their due diligence. They can't afford to get flanked, especially with considering how far out in the open they are. There's not a lot of cover to work with besides trees. And sure, it's cover, but it's not the best.
Is on. It's very, very interesting game overall. I think the observers are having a little bit of a tough time as well, managing to catch all of this action.
I mean, I heard they're big fans of Death Stranding. I think they're trying to re-emulate that. Just the walking simulator. It's 1-to-1.
BDX KDC under pressure now. It's going to get locked. Tawan cannot use his Valiant Dash. And Nolan punishes with that backstab. Brilliantly played off that A124 PE Esports. Forcing back the squad that has been absolutely deadly so far. AG versus Bigatron by Vitality. This could just be an early drop here by Bigatron. As Dix finds Cypher and 590 working perfectly. Joel and his brother Dix going in for the hunt. Nameless electrotherapy working perfectly. Barros is going to have this advantage. And look at them swing around each other. Looking for the finisher. And AG Global going to go in here for the chase. Vending machine, Bigatron by Vitality gets there. AG Global on that revival. Joel brings things back. So this gets to continue for a little bit longer.
Ah, the electrotherapy, too good, too good. Oh wait, Joel! Does he manage to at least take a trade back? Fortunately no, doesn't get it. Too late, too far, and too much foliage blocking the line of sight. Flash, apparently all of their members still up and alive, still by Brasilia. They have not moved for too long, and Ranze looking to regroup with the rest of his boys. However, Allen spotted out. They need to swing together. Ranze still able to take him out. That's a double kill for him.
5 eliminations on the side of RRQ. Still camping around those vending machines in case any of those battles don't go their way. Flash up against Tawan, the only player from the side of Abidex KDC. The Mag 7 is going to find him as Mink rushes on in.
Great punish, great punish. They knew he had to waste like a good majority of his magazine, using all the clips inside, forcing him to reload early on. Now, by campsite AG, again, it was a tough fight here by the Arsenal, but now that they've won it, they are well equipped for any engagement. And this really helps to their style of taking it slow. They're great at finding these picks, and if it can just hold down for a little bit longer, they will discover the second ring.
AG Global, 4 eliminations. As they head on towards the other part of the circle, Aurora maybe want to book an appointment with Team Flash here. They do have a hit list on a different squad. They have spotted Flash with their naked eye and going in to say hello in a bit.
Yeah, where did they... I thought they were looking at the vending machine by Brasilia, but then where did AVD go? They went north and disappeared, and they got the revive somewhere, but it's not within Brasilia. So let's find out where it is as we look in heavy, and as well as BTR. Dix now getting caught in the middle, unfortunately, reacted too slow. Simnak did get revived here, but it's only a matter of time before he gets hunted down.
Yeah, Sibang looking for some way to pull the squad back in here as WAG for the better part of the circle. I think we're just very slow plays coming on through here. The God under stealth bites off of that Morse to reposition. Aurora hot on their heels. They want to fight. Esports on the way in. They've got a vehicle.
Oh my god.
They might just be able to stop Flash dead in their tracks here. A three-way battle at Brasilia.
Is nobody gonna take a shot here? Not a single person. Everybody saw each other. They made eye contact and decided, you know what? Let's just chill for a second. Let's just chill. RRQ still by Central Slime, finally getting to the edge of the map where they first held, clearing out their entire backsides. Now we jump into this fight between Esports and Magna. LBT is the first to go down as Nolan turns to Foreigner Virus. Oh, with another one! Able to find one more. Nolan gets one back into Winzy, of course, but it's a 2v2. It could have been a lot worse. Magna still having a majority of their members here. Actually gets Winzy back up, turning the 2v4 into a 1v1. Instantly getting collapsed upon. Magna wins that fight, but it's not over because we see Aurora and as well as Flash, who we saw earlier, just chilling.
Now Magna could circle on in. RRQ bumping into a Vita X KDC, getting those double knocks. Koja with a triple revival for Bigatron by Vitality. Still early game. Oh, but it looks like WAG is like shooting ducks out of the sky. Fighting player after player that has been revived on the side of Bigatron, punishing them instantly.
Yeah, Bigatron has not been able to get back onto their feet for a while. This is going to be the second full reset that they had to do at this point. And I think it might even turn into a fourth reset, considering that a majority of the spots here in this second ring has already been taken up. They have to search the outskirts. Golf course side, BRU is going to be there. Brasilia is right directly in the middle, so nobody's passing here. Maybe the western side, but that's where we saw WAG come from initially. Oh, that's Long Kong in the back.
And that deals the perfect shot to Long Kong. Anusit bringing Pablo back in. And it looks like a Vita X KDC is going to be forced on that revival spree, just like Bigatron by Vitality here. Speaking of, Joel on that revival, bringing Koja back into play. But surprise, these two teams are still surviving after so many close encounters.
Yeah, I think they're making a read on the ring. Also, this has been one of the most underwhelming skewed flight paths we've had. It's just first 30 seconds of fighting and then everybody decided to stop. And now we still have 12 remaining teams still alive somehow within the second ring despite it being skewed.
Oh, amen. And Buriram, game 3. And they're still taking a slow approach. 14 points on Bermuda, 15 on Nexterra, maybe 16 on Purgatory.
I wonder what BRU does in the meantime. I feel like if I'm holding an angle, if I hold it for too long, I start falling asleep. Which is probably why Wasana's just going back and forth. Just to stay awake here, as they still have to cross the body of water into Brasilia's side. A very traditional way, a traditional ring for most of these teams. Which is probably why you're seeing them actually take it slow within Brasilia.
Staying in one spot, not moving, falling asleep. Sounding like a free cam operator here. WAG with 4. Nice, spotting out heavy. 9-7. AC-80 in the hands of the guy who needs those sharp shots. Grenade's gonna go to the wrong spot here. Ice Grenade is gonna force Allen back. Lightning Zone called. And this is trouble time because Bigatron is approaching as well.
Take their time with this. Now we're seeing that everybody on the top of the roofs have to get out. Riptide Rhythm to open up the exits. And Heavy, they've only got one POV and it's not enough to cover everything. See back on the opposite side, Hwang Em, he sees Tikwe. They're trying to look to get into the bottom. They nade the top side. Groza in hand, like Hwang Em can't afford to die right now. PL's one ends up going down, Hwang Em as well. And that's going to be 2 on the outside as they get absolutely peppered from everybody. You would have thought that AG is out of this. They are not. And Duo is landing headshot after headshot with the help of BTR just behind them.
Oh, and now Bigatron. They thought they were just playing third party in this situation, but they are going to get preyed on as well. AG Global now out in the open. But maybe big mistake here because Heavy has the big advantage against both Heavy and Bigatron. They've got the farmhouse for the defense and Nameless. The LMG just going in there, spraying those heads, but instant recovery thanks to the compound they hold.
Oh, plenty of contact for AG. Now they're about to get into the double digits. Just 2 more eliminations to get there. They use the healing UAV to escort them back into the ring, but they're still looking backwards, seeing if anybody makes that mistake. And more importantly, Heavy on the opposite side, ends up going down. GOW now getting involved as we see a revive coming in from one of BTR's members to scout the area, but Heavy have no clear path into the ring.
Oh, Cypher. Oh, but a sliver of health. Can he make it? Still surviving. Joel down. Sidbeng taken down by the circle. Bigatron by Vitality is getting obliterated. At the same time, RRQ facing the exact same fate. Up against Buriram. Here comes Jonah. Tossing in that nade. Ma'al. And Wasana just a little bit too slow to whip out that Woodpecker.
Oh, AVD getting involved. Oh, Call goes down! Despite so close to dying. They need a reset here for both sides. Get their team members back up, and now the Cryo Mine comes out first. Jonah throwing his ordinances alongside with Wasana to slow down the initial push, but Wasana ends up going down. Uwe landing an amazing shot, and they see this war happening on the opposite end.
Wow, Heavy beating down on both these dive squads. First, looking for Buriram, and then looking for the Avida players. But Avida XKDC making sure they end the run of Buriram here. Taking down all of their remaining members. But of course, Captain Jonah still alive and kicking. No more grenades in hand. He has to play this one careful.
Yeah, playing for placements at this point is Flash. Everybody from Brazilia's side is forced out of town. Even Magna as well. Aurora P Esports, Flash, and Magna all trying to contest each other in two separate compounds as the last members of BRU and Heavy will engage on the Western Front.
Don't cry. With the Valiant Dash on standby here. Chilling outside the circle for the time being. Heavy up against Avida XKDC. Looking to smash down the glass of the weapons arsenal. Not being able to get there in time. Long Kong with a Mag 7. Gets the knock. Don't Cry and Mufasa. The pickup onto Allen by Bui. Smart play. Brilliantly done. Pulled it off in the nick of time. The circle could not do that damage in time. And the team is right back up on their feet. Avida XKDC just waiting for this perfect timing. Barricading themselves inside of the weapons arsenal.
Oh, they need the fights to quickly finish up. The Flash as well as Aurora and RQ so far are not going to move, and they're not getting as much help as they wanted to. They ended up opening up their angles to more util to flood back on in, but at least somebody's looking at them. Somebody's looking at Heavy at the same time when they are.
5 elimination strong. Wanted to bust down those blue walls. Finally, the Valiant Dash comes on through. And it looks like it is all-out chaos. Avida XKDC getting pummeled by Heavy. Long Kong sneaks out. And Grand Theft Auto, he's out of there.
He's going to run out and try to heal up outside in the blue. GOW still controlling that northern side, but the southern side is not done yet. Taking some good shots here. Oh, gets to it as well as they find one more in the axle. Good headshots here. As now they collapse towards the left side. Magna has an opportunity to clean them all up, but first GOW collides. So two fights, north and south.
Flash, oh my goodness, this is just way too messy for this lobby. Circles too wide open here. 17 players still alive through 6 squads. And Flash struggling to survive. Magna barricading themselves behind a tower of blue walls here. What a nade! Gets to Dagrian, but Virus, ABCD, Get Bull, Zob, all getting taken down. And the shots off the court by Mufasa puts the final end to the players on the side of Magna looking to survive the circle.
This is the best case scenario for GOW as well as Heavy. Both sides still members very full, very well loaded. Riptide Rhythm to open up the left-hand side flank as Demon makes his way to the right. The end. He's got to land a couple of shots here. He's got to land something to slow them down. And fortunately, it doesn't seem like they're finding it just yet. The end still holding his ground here against Heavy. They know that he eventually has to slow them. As Dian and Demon slowly start walking up, Heavy opting to close themselves in. It's a full fight here. 2v1s on opposite end. Dian's the first to fall down, and Demon can't cover him. And unfortunately, that means Heavy finds the pick that they were looking for. Far shots knock up to Riptide Rhythm, and even the Valley Dash as Demon tries to reposition behind them, ends up giving his life. Now Death all by himself. That's a full team wipe here, and a solid win for Heavy.
Heavy with the recovery play. 3 points in Bermuda. They got pummeled to the ground, and then they made their recovery play at Nexterra. 15 eliminations strong at Nexterra, and they wanted to prove that they can do even better. Because remember, this time the finals, we are heading straight to Vietnam. They want to make sure they are ready for the big stage.
And it looks like, I mean, a lot of situations that we thought they were completely out, but they recovered every single time. And they got very lucky at the end there. No team fully all committed. They put up enough resistance that their opponent said, you know what, Heavy just isn't worth it. Let's look to the opposite side. And that opened up the whole game for Heavy.
Yeah, it most definitely did. I think it was so much of chaos. We couldn't really find a lot of angles to paint a decent story of what was going on there. And looking at the sheer number of teams who were bumping into each other into that final circle, obviously it was going to be difficult to survive. And the final zone just had to pull us out into the open. Barely any cover at all on this Purgatory map towards the very end. Even Buriram was struggling to find a decent spot for themselves. They got hunted down by Avida X KDC of all squads. Quite curious as to what did Avida pull off of this game, because we could barely get a spot on them with all of that chaos breaking down.
Yeah, a lot of teams ended up surviving a majority of the time, which was rather strange considering that we at least lost one team within the first minute. We didn't get to see that this time around. The first team only ended up dying towards the 4th or 5th minute of the game, and even then, it wasn't like the most confident of attacks. Even so, right, the two major things that influenced this game, that skewed line, and everyone recognizing that the ring was going to end up to the north of Brasilia. That's why we saw fewer teams on the outer side, so more teams finding POIs in the blue to actually get the full revive.
Yeah, Avida starting off really hot and then fizzling down. Heavy starting off really bad, but heating up. This is fantastic for the two underdogs that we were talking about at the very start of the day. But the two big teams that we predicted to be doing fairly well today, Buriram as well as RRQ, they've just disappeared from side of dominance here. They have maybe not going all out just yet. I don't know what's happening now, Gideon.
Yeah, I feel like it's harder to explain RRQ because it feels like sometimes they have a very good read on the map. Other times it feels like they're going out of their way to punish BRU because both map 3 and now map 2, we've seen that they've consistently collided on the third to fourth ring every single time on the outer side. And I think teams are now adapting to that, right? If BRU is not going to interact with us, we'll wait until the critical moment and turn that one fight into an all-out war.
But I just have a small warning for everybody out there. Just be careful, because I've looked at the way Buriram has been playing it, and it looks like they're intentionally not shooting. They're just looking to reposition on the battlefield. They're only shooting when they are forced to shoot. They are not taking any fights. They keep running away. They keep repositioning. And this is ridiculous out of Buriram, right? Because we know in terms of aggression, they're one of the most capable squads out there. This meta is supposedly their meta. They can very easily run a double snipe setup. They are lethal on those M590s. They can get the job done up close and personal. They do love that Valiant dash off of that Oscar. Everything is going the way of Buriram, but they are not hunting for points here, Gideon.
Yeah, no, it's a little strange, but then I start to look and think about the format and recognize that, hey, you just need to make it into the top 12 so that you can qualify almost straight away in Phase 2. So I think that's probably where they want to position themselves. As long as they stay in top 12 is good.
Absolutely. And of course, in the grand finals, where you are on the leaderboard obviously will be really important. Again, we are playing for the qualifier into the Esports World Cup as well at Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. So it's going to be really important, first of all, to get to the grand finals. And then, of course, once you're there, you can't let what's happening out here happen on that day itself. Especially if you're a team like Buriram, if you're a team like Avida X KDC, I mean, starting off really hot, but there's just no consistency. Granted, I think the positions that they were holding in that Bermuda map was decent, but it was just so much more aggression that was actually going their way in a positive manner. But, you know, in this game 2 and 3, you just didn't see that happening again.
Yeah, we didn't get to see that happen too often, but one of the few things that we did get to see more often, a couple more people running with launchers and, you know, LMGs. It's really fun to see. I mean, obviously, this mistake here is a little unacceptable, but besides that, it's been an interesting interesting mid-game for a majority of these movements.
Yeah, Mufasa, the MVP of this game number 3. 4 eliminations, 1,917 on the damage, rocking that Bison. And if you can see the top 5 eliminations, it's just well spread out. Quite a bit of numbers picked up on this matchup. So we do expect those points to be well distributed on the leaderboard.
And I mean, I think one thing Heavy got to show off really, really well is the fact that they're able to recover from the mistakes, especially in the middle of battle. When Alan was moving up to the arsenal against AVD, losing his healing UAV while still taking damage from those thunderclouds, I thought it was done for Heavy, but they managed to hold on to their ground, lock AVD back into the arsenal, and then pick up the win after that. And it's not like they're doing anything too special. It's right now their chemistry is through the roof.
Yeah, and Heavy's doing the best when they brought in this Skylar, the Riptide Rhythm actually going their way in a couple of those instances, but they understand the precursor for that Riptide Rhythm doing well. All of their players need to kind of funnel down all of their shots towards a specific spot, following the lead of Buhui, and thus far it has been working out, especially towards the final parts of the game where those glue walls really start becoming a little bit of a problem. Decent numbers picked up here by Heavy. In fact, this is their best game so far in the 3 that they've played.
This should shot put them pretty far up in the standings if this is 12, if we're thinking about 12 placement points on top of their total eliminations here of 14. That's going to send them skyrocketing. Let's look at the game standings right now. 26 total points here, with Gao actually in second with 21. Now, we didn't get to see too much of Gao. They were running the time turner, if I remember correctly, which is rather strange, right? But overall, they held the longest position possible.
Yeah, Time Turn is definitely back in the meta. It does allow you to pick up your team members, play that game of survival. But what's impressive is they also were playing the game of eliminations. So Gao having a good balance here to get them towards that final circle. Very impressed with what Magna Esports Club managed to do in this game as well. For Malaysia, 7 eliminations, 7 placement points. But towards the bottom, this is where big questions need to be asked. Buriram surviving for a decently long time within this map before they got smashed, but I have to say it was just so chaotic with the way they got eliminated. The battle sequence was a little surprising. They were running away more than they actually tried to take some shots. So I'm wondering if they are going to try in the final 3 games available today.
I don't know. I think maybe they thought everybody was just going to gun each other down and no squads were getting eliminated early on to get them those placement points that they were so desperately looking for. But next up is Solara. And I think BRU kind of don't have a choice in this matter because it's so easy to quote-unquote accidentally bump into somebody in a map like this. So let's see whether or not we're going to see a little bit of that BRU action.
Yeah, all more BRU escape plans all around the battlefield. But for today, 3 games in, Bigatron by Vitality still dominating that #1 spot through the 2 Booyahs they got back-to-back previously, and Heavy managing to pick up this Purgatory Booyah to sneak into the 2nd spot now. A bit of XKDC right behind them in the 3rd spot. No Booyahs just yet. And some shockers down at the bottom as WAG and PE Esports just haven't been able to get into rhythm just yet, alongside RRQ and Buriram. We're still trying to figure it out, but of course RRQ and Buriram are in a much better position because all it takes is one solid game to put them in the running for the top 3.
I am very surprised at WAG and PE, like PE especially. I really thought they were coming out of the gate swinging here, but it just feels like they haven't found the rhythm. WAG, on the other hand, it's kind of on and off. We played 3 maps already. One map they did well, another map they did like medium. Unfortunately, a 3rd map did not do well enough. So from this point onwards, now that we get into the next section of 3 maps, I would only assume the bottom of the leaderboards are going to start farming for points because they have to.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. But I also think that in the earlier parts of the competition, the teams are really trying to figure out where do they stand in the current OB update, right? Exactly what sort of a team composition they're going to go out there with, how the other squads are going to be playing all of these fights. Are they going to be focusing on more of those Moors and trying to reposition out in the open, you know, positioning their snipers in a grand spot? Or are they going to be trying to get up close and personal? Because the game has developed in a way where you don't just have one gun being really good or one strategy being the best. Now there is a plethora of options for you to choose out there. And I think the teams are just trying to figure out their own rhythm as well as their opponents before they really lock in what their strategy is for this season.
Which also is a pretty good reflection for AVD. They know exactly what they want to play, and that's exactly how they're going to get away with it. Now, with that being said, we have a little bit of an interview with our recent winners. Let's bring it over to our host and have a chit-chat with them.
Oke, host silakan.
All right. Thank you so much, Caster. Survivors Heavy takes the booyah on the third game, but Bigatron by Fatality has successfully stolen the spotlight by getting a back-to-back booyah on the first two games. And I'm here with Koja. Let's have a bit of a chit-chat, shall we? Hi, Koja. How's it going?
Halo,
Hi. Doing well? Happy?
alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Looking very happy indeed. Okay, so the first question is, opening the first day with a back-to-back booyah, what mindset do you have coming into the Free Fire World Series Southeast Asia 2026 Spring? Ngebuka hari pertama dengan back-to-back booyah nih buat Bigatron. Mindset apa sih yang kamu punya untuk masuk ke turnamen musim ini? Kamu dan juga teman-teman kamu ya di BTR.
Ya kita satu mindset lah, kita satu tujuan, mulai dari nol lagi, karena datangnya player baru juga kan satu.
Yep.
Terus kita 2 sniper sendiri, jadi kita mau beda dari yang lain lah, dan kita mau itu juara udah itu aja.
Alright, that's a very interesting answer because he said that the important thing is they're going into the season with a same mindset, same goal, and they're trying something very different. They're still trying to read the situation, but yeah, hopefully it all turned out well for Bigatron by Fatality. So far, it's been working really well, and we're very proud of them. Second of all, the roster rotation. Do you think that's the winning key that helped you guys get the first two booyahs? Rotasi dari roster, apakah menurut kamu ini juga menjadi kunci kemenangan kalian di 2 game pertama?
Ya rotasi dari roster mah, ya itu tergantung dari coach juga sih. Jadi kita mah tinggal ikut alur aja, karena coach juga udah punya datanya semua lah. Jadi kita tinggal lanjutin doang.
Okay, so yeah, he thinks that it is, but obviously the call is the coach's call, so they're just following the flow and trying to do their best, trying to perform as well as possible. Last but not least, today we see the Vietnam teams playing, but you guys are definitely so much more aggressive, and we are so glad to see that because it's about time that Bigatron by Fatality can show its true strength. What exactly is the mission today? Is it to have as much kill as possible or focusing on the placement? Kalau tadi kita lihat kan banyak tim Vietnam bermain, tapi bangga banget nih BTR bisa tampil dengan lebih agresif. Kita seneng banget ngelihat akhirnya kalian bisa berani gigit dan nunjukin kekuatan kalian sesungguhnya. Tapi sebenarnya misi utamanya hari ini apa sih? Apakah ngamanin kill dulu atau objektif ke placement?
Misi kita hari ini ya kita mau top 1 leaderboard lah. Jadi itu misi kita.
Oh my god. So the mission is to be the number 1 on the leaderboard, and that's pretty crazy. Do you think that you can achieve that by the end of the day? Kamu yakin nggak bisa achieve goal itu di akhir hari ini nanti? Karena dengan ya berarti 3 game yang tersisa kan ya, 2 booyah udah kalian amankan. Sepositif apa sih bisa merealisasikan misi itu?
Ya cukup 2 game lagi lah buat jadi leaderboard itu. Jadi nggak usah 3 game.
Gak usah 3 game,
Ya,
2 game lagi
2
ya?
game lagi aja
Oke,
udah cukup.
kita tunggu. So Koja is pretty sure that Bigatron by Fatality can earn the first spot on the leaderboard just by playing 2 more games. So I think we shall see about that. But anyway, that is it from the interview. Thank you so much, Koja, for having
Thank
this
you.
interview with me. Now, survivors, we're gonna go back to the casters because I really want to know what they're going to say about Koja's answer. Take it away, casters.
話してやってくんねえかサダール。そいつは新八じゃねえんだ。僕なら噛まれてもいいってことですか。ケリーさん本当にごめんなさい。さて行き先はってもしかして僕またメガネだけになってない？
I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that. Ate said the moon and the sun aren't rivals. I still believe in that.
And we're already back to Unleash the Fire. Welcome everybody, you're watching the FFWSC Spring Edition. My name is Q, of course, with AJ the Pistachio here to carry you through the next 3 games. And so far, things have been looking very exciting if you are a BTR fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Bigatron by Vitality with the consistency, kind of mind-blowing with what they've been able to do so far. Very aggressive with the engagements, but what's more impressive is how they've managed to place in each and every single one of the first 3 games. Of course, 2 booyahs, and they were not too bad in that final matchup where Heavy picked up a booyah of their own as well. Speaking of consistency, a slow start, I would say, for Heavy, but they have just been ramping it up, game after game. Nexterra just a little bit better, and of course, we just saw the showdown at Purgatory, where they got to that final circle in the most confident of manners, but we have not seen those big teams make any big moves just yet.
Yeah, so far, in terms of our predictions, only one of the 3 teams we predicted are doing about as well as we expected, and they're the underdog team, so kind of not expected as well.
Yep.
We were hoping for both BRU and RRQ to kind of set the tone for the rest of the lobby, but it seems like the disrespect is very real, and small adjustments here by every team. If you're not going to interact with us, don't worry, we'll just wait for the right time to interact with you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, both Avida as well as Heavy, the underdogs in our predictions, are fighting for that second spot right now, right? Avida just 7 points behind Heavy, and with 3 games to go, we'll just need to see exactly which one can withstand the pressure down to the very end. Because unlike Heavy, who heated up, Avida seems to be cooling down. They started off the day very aggressive with a lot of points and then have been fizzling out in the past 2 matches. But maybe after a decently short break, we will be able to see a better side of them as we heat up the battle for Solara. This is where you have said, you can expect those heavy engagements fairly quickly thanks to those slide rails. All of a sudden, you are in a fight. All of a sudden, you're not. All of a sudden, you are in a 4-way battle and you didn't ask for it.
Yep, the early to mid game is so important here on Solara, especially when it comes down to the mid game, because a lot of opportunities to make mistakes actually occur during then, right? The early game, most teams trying to intercept each other is quite a bit of a risk, especially if you don't find the cash out at the end, but for the time being, we're just gonna have to wait and see, right? The Indonesians have been looking very good on Solara, and then last year happened, and now it's kind of anybody's game.
Absolutely, and of course, we have completed 3 matches, 3 more to go. Solara, Kalahari for games 4 and 5, and then we bring the randomizer back in here for game number 6 to see exactly which squad is going to be blessed, because clearly some are finding it a little easier on certain maps compared to the others, and this is going to be a big problem as we continue our run. But then again, that being said, I don't think we are getting 100% out of each and every single one of these squads here just yet, because again, it's a brand new update out here in the Free Fire world, so the teams are still kind of testing the waters before they go all out.
Yeah, there's a lot of new tech that everybody has been working with, when it comes down to the sniper characters, when it also comes down to, like, what do you want to have as your main 3? We've seen teams actually opt to go for the Cassie over the Ray. We actually haven't seen any Ray so far throughout a majority of these squads.
Yeah, very risky play with those Rays. I mean, if you're a player like Wasana or someone, I think you can pull off some flashy plays. Players like Koja can definitely do it, but it is a matter of preference, right? At this point of time, there are some of the other active skills that are a little bit better preferred because they don't come with a little bit of a negative edge to it. The Bond of Eclipse, unfortunately, gives your opponents your opposition away, so it's a double-edged sword. But I'm still waiting to see exactly who's that brave warrior who will bring Ray out here for, of course, a couple of good runs, maybe some aggressive matches with those eliminations. As we head on into Solara, let's see if we find that guy.
Hopefully somebody's brave enough, especially on Solara, because this is where Ray is from, right? He loves the sun, he loves being a bit of a chatterbox, but more importantly, it's the loadout around him. And I think so far the team that feels the most well-positioned for it is BTR with their aggressive style, assuming that they're running the Zane. They could have swapped that out for something else, but it really depends, right? In terms of the split, very neutral, and it looks like early engagement by Delta Isles between RRQ and GOW.
Yeah, here comes GOW dudes. A very early drop here at Delta Isle. They did get their hands on their weapons, but choosing to not go in for the engagement just yet, leaving Ma'al in a position to play scout because he already got a preferred weapon, the AC-80 in his hands now. said the Kingfisher. This demon just quickly jumps right past him.
Yeah, the UAV, okay, triple UAV is being thrown out by RRQ to reaffirm the positions of GOW, but GOW threw their UAV backwards just to make sure that their backs are clear. They've got one person to secure the flank side on the northern end of Delta Isles. We're gonna have to wait for that flanker to actually creep up a little bit closer before the initiation from GOW.
Yeah, I mean, RRQ trying to confirm information they already had. GOW just trying to get some new info to see if or not anyone's flanking around their backs. And because they have confirmed that nobody is there, they get to funnel in on the RRQ players now. Runs away with the AN-94. It's not the right gun for this situation. Death, the exact same, manages to drop him down to the ground. Dudes trying his best to get out of there. He's got the inhaler in hand. The rest of the players on the side are RRQ at the vending machine. A big fight. The Chrono keeping a bay on his feet. He's going to let go of the cord, and the Charge Buster comes out of play as well. Ma'al sprayed down to the ground, and now the players of Gao sitting on that vending machine as AG Global shows up.
Yep, this third was well timed. The GOW taking a lot of the damage here. Dudes just has to wait for whoever wins, or at least help the GOW side take out Cypher. But no, Dudes ends up going down, and that's another elimination point falling into the hands of AG with a decisive attack. Look at this. Look at the amount of glue walls just being thrown here. A complete maze of them.
Yeah, I mean, RRQ just a little unfortunate in that situation. Nameless looking for Demon. Will be sent right through with the Valiant Dash. Nameless on the other hand has got the electrotherapy connected. RRQ down early. Out in 12th. As the battle up against Gao, and then the interference from AG did not give them a chance to pull that revival. Now Gao with the advantage with the numbers, but the Valiant Dash breaks down the defenses.
Oh!
The end drops. My goodness, what is Death doing? The backstab with the Mag 7 failing, but he does get to the vending machine to buy his buddies back. And now going in to finish the job. Spot Cypher, perfect timing, but the Bison wins it out against the Mag.
Oh my god, he's isolated 3 different times, and now he might get a 4th one here, and Han goes down! Cypher takes them all out!
I have no idea how he pulled it off, but maybe it's thanks to the J-beams in his hands. As the Nikita as well for the very quick reload. But the Mag 7 failing against the Bison in such a distance is just unfortunate. The revive player picking up the cord of all things for a CQC. Of course, granted, he wanted to go in for the pickup. And now Gao is coming back in here for a rechow, which is being smashed to the wall by AG.
They've got to stop. They've got to stop. Cypher has farmed them all. He's 7 eliminations already. AG is walking away less than 4 minutes at 10 points. That's already good. Zeus? Hello? What? Huh? Huh? Dude, catches him literally prone on the ground.
Well, AG is not gonna pass up on any freebies you give them. And Aurora will have to spend some money bringing their buddy right back in here. AG Global on the aggressive rotation round, perhaps with an opportunity to spot out Ezreal. They were looking for the vending machine closest to this compound, and they were right to find it at Casa Vista. Perhaps another point off of the Aurora squad ends up in their hands now. All thanks to Barros, who gets there in time. GG. All-time Turner.
Saves his life, saves his life. He's still gonna have to make a break for it. Takes another shot from the teammate. And now Ezreal, he's got to hold the crossfire here. As soon as he turns the corner, Barros is in trouble. Drops down the glue wall just in time. June reveals his position, allowing Cypher and Nameless to reposition. Barros ends up going down at the end of the day, and that's a perfect scenario for Aurora. Now, Aurora, they've got to run. They've got to leg it here.
Yeah, I mean, June actually got that. Will be spotted out by Cypher. Cypher has got an advantage with the range here of the gun. Has the Bison as well. Valiant dash straight to June. And Jun just could not respond in time as Dew took a shot at him with the M82B from afar. Cypher was just the distraction off of the Valiant dash. Smart play by AG.
Unfortunate for Aurora, though. They lose 2 of their members, and now they're on a recovering spree. We see WAG actually collapsing down onto Casa Vista here, and AG looking to hold up his position. They don't want to give this away, and they're willing to fight for it, point blank if necessary.
And WAG now has got a big fight that they might have just Wanted to see exactly how they can make the cut here. Cypher with the Bison, beautifully flanked around, Wong him down. Tikui trades him out. Dew is there with the VSK. PLS1 down. Nameless shutdown and Non-7 waking up for the squad. Dew, can he pull this off? Tikui just at the vending machine. And he'll pull in the survival for the rest of the WAG squad. And AD Global has to figure out how to get to the next vending machine. Dew is rich enough to buy his whole squad back.
Oh wait, hold on. When one team leaves, another team looks to accept the challenge. As WAG control this space in Casa Vista, Esports decide, you know, it's our time to shine. Let's get back in there and start farming these points. Tikui makes first contact here. Narrow taxed on the way in, but Laohoi, LBT, and Nolan have already made it into the first floor.
The heat is just not easing off. Now Esports being pressured. WAG welcomes the challenge. And it looks like they're going to be winning this one out hands down. Esports has just had a terrible day here on the opening of this spring season. And Magna about to face the exact same situation as well, up against Flash, who has found their rhythm.
These teams all pushing in, left, licking their wounds. We look over at AG, now trying to get back up into full strength here. Same goes for Aurora, both contesting Aquarium, but Aurora is the team that's moving in, and Zeus loses his head to Dew. Might be another one as Riptide Rhythm comes through and Dew finds he's good for 2 here. 6 eliminations in the bag, putting AG at 15 eliminations.
Dew single-handedly revived his whole squad, sorted out 2 players of Aurora as well, all on his own. I mean, what can Dew not do? 6 eliminations in hand, 7 off of Cypher, 2 off of Nameless, 15 eliminations strong for AG Global. But man, oh man, what a lobby. We've got 11 squads still active in here after all of those numbers picked up.
Yep, everybody is on the recovery game. Even for Magna, we see him on the feed pretty often, right? 1 full reset and a half reset for them. WAG has been managing to control these rails for the time being. They know somebody's on, and the question is, how far down the line is that person?
8 eliminations here for WAG. Heavy, on the other hand, looking for the TV tower battle up against Esports. They might just bite off more than they can chew here of this TV tower battle, because WAG not too far away. And I'm very sure they want some points if they can sneak a few off very early on. Buriram, on the other hand, bumping into Bigatron by Vitality. We haven't seen them yet.
Yeah, wasn't expecting the monster truck to make it over that height. Now Heavy don't have a vehicle to get back out, so they're going to drop another one just in case, you know, safety in numbers. Let's look at where this next ring is going to be, because the teams who are on the outside is GOW, Magna, Aurora, alongside with AVD down on the southern side.
Well, we just slow the pace down here a little bit as Buriram joins the fray, making this into a potential 4-way fight at TV Tower. WAG still the ones who are furthest away. UAV sent out by Buriram. Esports scanned out totally. And Heavy takes the UAV out of the skies before the spot is given away. And now Buriram going in for the rush. They get the info. They want the points.
They're going to take the bottom floor first and slowly start scaling up. Once they've identified that the bottom foundation is clear, then they start moving up. Question is, do they even want to, right? It looks like they're repositioning somewhere else within TV Tower, and they don't mind taking a couple of shots here to find a more secure location. 2 entrances that they have to worry about. 1 entrance actually having a corridor in between. This is a more defensible position for sure.
Again, Buriram just walking away from an open opportunity to take points. They don't want to take those shots. Aurora, on the other hand, want to take shots, but they're getting shot at left, right, center. They can't survive just yet. Axel now in a little bit of a pickle. M590 in the hands of Mink. There's one opportunity to meet him, and Axel should go right back to the waiting flight. ABCD up to the top, Valiant dash. Oh, Axel, smart play, but just could not survive long enough. Ice Grenade will get the tag onto him. And now AG Global might just be the next predators here in the eyes of Flash.
Oh no, the timing could not have been worse. Flash caught out in the open, and AG now taking the space as soon as they possibly can. And they have access to slide rails if they could just make it up into the station to close the distance. ABCD is thinking the exact same thing too. He's going to be the first one to do it. Luckily for him, able to also generate a barrier when he does so. quick nearby
nice.
vending machine is going to set him up for success. And now, whatever he does at this point, his job is already done. Doesn't win out the one, but he at least brought back everybody else.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, well played there by ABCD. Megatron by Vitality up against Magna. Ooh, smart play in terms of positioning, but both players tagged up right behind the wall. Sivang with the RGS-50. Big opportunity here. First grenade does not manage to get the tag. Everybody else barricades themselves behind those glue walls. Koja M590 around the wall, beautifully shot. And more for the pickup. Magna's just getting eaten up by Megatron.
Great push and pull, and now Diggs breaks right on through the glue walls to finish off and clean up the rest of the members of Magna here. Virus is the last one standing, hidden on top of the top hill rock. He's forced to run. Koja on the chase, refusing to give up any survivors.
But let's see if or not Diggs will be able to catch up with the vehicle. Just chooses to repark his vehicle before he gets a summon for it. So, understandable. TV tower, quite popular for them. Enforcement officers all around.
TV tower, it seems like the ring has not moved out of TV tower for a very long time here. If it pulls towards the southern side of the TV tower compound, that's going to be so good for Heavy, BRU, and even PE Esports. I would say arguably for BTR, but let's see if they even make it into the compound.
What is this circle? 11 teams still alive. They're heading towards TV tower. The compound I hate the most. It's got so many levels. It's gonna allow many teams to survive for quite a long time before the chaos breaks down. Just like what you see in front of AG Global here, being eaten up by WAG. Surprisingly, of all squads, AG Global falls to WAG.
Yep, and honestly, AG Global not too sad about that. Oh, well, now they are because they could have gotten a little bit more points. Magna getting eliminated for holding out just a little bit longer. And finally, another team wipe in Aurora as well. That's 3 squads down for the count.
And 3 squads in the matter of 30 seconds annihilated before we pull it into circle number 5. WAG sitting pretty on the opposite end of the circle. They do buy out a hit list as well on top of everything else, just to understand exactly where's the closest squad to them. Brilliantly played off of WAG. Now, they don't have to worry just yet.
Yeah, the ring pulling to the outside of TV tower, it's great for Heavy. Not so much for PE Esports and BRU anymore, and now hugely benefiting WAG on the opposite end. Now Flash probably thinking the same thing. We need to get on the southern side. Heavy denies them that opportunity. Same goes for GOW as they are taxing this rotation.
Okay, Team Flash just throwing the monster truck ahead as cover and then quickly repositioning this well. Okay, good parking skills. GOW pummeling them from the back. Flash doing well to survive for the time being. Barricading themselves with those beefed up glue walls, and look at the glue wall tower built up right in front of them. Throws out the glue UAV just to barricade that a little bit better as well. Survivability wise, Flash doing really well.
Yep, this is costing them a lot of resources. All of this was just to get to WAG's current position, and now they're caught between a rock and a hard place. Riptide Rhythm towards GOW's side, it looks like the only means of negotiation is through Hailfire of Lead. Now we come back to BRU. 3 of their members already now get high, the only one surviving, and finally AVD looking to close them out. PE Esports as well in an all-out bout to make sure they win the bottom floor too.
Yeah, Buriram still playing the no-shoot game, and they get annihilated in A. Avida X, KDC now spotting out the PE sport players. They just took out Buriram. PE could not recover, and Avida took advantage.
TR as well. Good about out. A lot of these teams are dropping out the sky like flies, and WAG still in prime position to win the entire thing as GOW repositioned behind the cyber gets punished by Flash. This entire time, Flash has withstanded this war of attrition, now getting hit by the Cryo Mine alongside with the Riptide Rhythm from WAG, who will afford nobody is able to invade their space. ABCD behind the monster truck, now finally already destroyed. It's just two of the last remaining members left. And unless they get a handout by GOW, this should be it for them.
WAG finally waking up in the competition. This has been their best match so far as far as the eliminations are concerned. And in fact, they've got more eliminations than they have gotten in the past 3 matches put together. That's insane. Heavy on the other hand, don't cry down on the ground. It's a big fight up against Avida X KDC. Just all out chaos as they barricade themselves in. And Heavy is actually jumping into those glue walls, trying to take those shots. And somehow Awan trying to get through the rest of his buddies, and Avida wins out the gunfight as the rest of them pick each other up. And Avida XKDC is ready for battle once again.
Yeah, and for some reason, this whole time GOW decides to intercept the fight from the flank, and AVD more than happy to take it as they already cleared it up, leaving only WAG and Avida. Of course, one last remaining member from GOW, but it's just a matter of time.
Look at the circling round by Avida XKDC, the reposition, reading the circle well, understanding the compound, and now booking an appointment with WAG once again. And they've got a little bit of an advantage positionally here, looking at the circle that's approaching.
Where are the rest of these members? AVD. It feels like they're kind of cornered, but they've got the entire southeastern side covered, right? That low ground is going to be a tough fight. Tikwe, he finds one. That's the opening pick they were looking for. They want to one, and they get it with the Riptide Rhythm as well. Another shotgun to the face. Last couple of members here in the Han wants to be able to find it, and yes, they get it. Everybody from the side of AVD could not find the trades, and they have unleashed the fire. WAG from the bottom of the standing finds a booyah.
WAG finally waking up in the competition. My goodness, we took them long enough, but this was a massive, massive 20 elimination game, a 32 bomber for them to climb up, scale up this leaderboard filled with titans in Southeast Asia. Brilliant the way they manufactured their positioning out there on that circle and played it so well, just inching in towards that zone little by little, and of course picking up fresh bodies all along the way.
They played it well. As soon as they recognized that they had Godspot on the second last ring, oh my goodness, they held it out so well. And Flash had a really good idea if it wasn't for the first initial shots that came in from that high ground. Could have changed the fact their fates there, but it's too tough. It's too tough, man. Oh, I don't know how else they could have played it. I felt like Flash, they had an opportunity. It's just, if they didn't get spotted there, maybe it could have been different.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And of course, Buriram and RRQ again bowing out early. This time, RRQ with no points whatsoever. Buriram with only 5 points because, you know, they couldn't really sustain a lot. They got those 2 eliminations and, you know, barely any placement points on them. The struggle continues for the top Predators, or the supposed top Predators that we thought were going to be able to farm these points. Instead, they are dwelling at the bottom of our leaderboard.
Yeah, it really shuffles things up in your mind in terms of power rankings now, considering the level of play that we're seeing here, right? It's not like they're making avid mistakes. It's more so that it's been... The meta has shifted in small ways, and some people are seeing it bigger than others.
Yeah, absolutely. And Avida XKDC this time, finding their rhythm again. We talked about how they were heated up at the start, and then they started to fizzle out as Heavy started picking up the momentum. But now Avida making it into the final circle, almost walking away with the booyah, shows us that this is the team that was just no fluke that they made it up to this stage, right? They have dominated their own Thai region, and now they're here to show us that they can pull it off yet again, managing to get a decent number of eliminations and, of course, that second spot placement points-wise.
Yeah, no, they've been making some incredible decision-making, especially if it is a new team who's joining us here in the regionals as well. I think that at the very least, there's a lot of potential, but I feel like a lot of teams have kind of kept them under the radar, right? So many teams have experienced them within the first couple of maps, and yet they still disrespecting the full 4v4. That maybe there's a little bit of underestimation going on here, but for AVD, that's the perfect place you want to be in, right? Keep underestimating us. Let us get the points early on for day one.
Now you got to figure out exactly what sort of a formation you want to head out there with as well in terms of your active passive skill build-up. And I think we've seen quite a bit of creativity from the squads already. I'm curious how WAG got to pull this off, right? Because we saw the regular active skills on them, but in terms of the passive skills that gave them the extra buff from the back, because survivability-wise, WAG was doing fine this time around at Solara.
They were taking a lot less damage. They managed to find the spots that they were looking for, and a way better early game. I think that's like the most important thing right now for a lot of these teams at the bottom of the standings. If they can get away with the early game, they usually transition mid to late very nicely.
Yeah, I mean, WAG, this is a team that picked up a total of 9 points based on the past 2 games that they played, okay? An average of 4.5 points when you look at their Nexterra and Purgatory performance. And for them to hit a 32 bomber, that's exactly what Southeast Asia provides you, right? Unsuspecting lobby after lobby. You just never know who's going to be able to get the job done. But Bigatron by Vitality still hanging on. Their performance slightly worse off compared to the Purgatory match that they played. I think it was way too early of an exit for Bigatron by Vitality this time round. But because of that back-to-back booyah, they should still be in the top 3. But they are now being chased to a point where they can still feel, or they have started to feel, the breath of their neighbors behind their neck.
Hey, speaking of people breathing behind their necks, I'm curious about AG because Sypha was coming out with some big elimination numbers, and I want to see if they managed to make it within top 5 because, again, it's one of the few times that we get to see the first few minutes of the game, 4 minutes, as a matter of fact, netting themselves into the double digits ridiculously quick.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know exactly how did AG Global do in this particular lobby because I think we saw a lot of action from them at the very start, right? You know, they were just jumping in. I think they didn't force that initial encounter. They just ended up in a situation where they found themselves in a 3-way battle. And they're like, okay, all right, let's farm these points. And they were doing fine. I mean, Dew was roaming the battlefield looking for those points. He went on that major revival spree as well, pulling the rest of their team members back. But we saw no part of AG Global after that. And I don't know what actually happened to them in that circle.
Yeah, well, I mean, I do remember AG having to actually take a couple of losses. They had a semi-reset afterwards, but then not 100% sure what happened to the mid-game because they ended up bowing out relatively early. But I mean, considering how good the initial start is, I feel like more people could punish AG if they want to because this particular playstyle of sending out a member, usually Sypha or maybe even Baros, they've been doing this for years. Now they're sending 2 people to actually go for the big third party. The other 2 members are usually just farming around or they're setting up Dew for a good sniper angle. All of that is very punishable.
Yeah, I do agree with you, but at the same time, if they actually get to execute it well when they go on those splits, it's going to be fairly deadly, right? Because now you also see Dew running the Morse. With the stealth bites, he is a little bit deadlier, if I want to say the least. He was already one of the prime snipers when we were not even in the sniper meta just yet, and now he gets to dance around a little bit more. I think the snipers have been absolutely boosted up this time around within the season with the Morse, plus with the extra armor penetration off of those snipers. The M24 making so much of noise. Literally, people like Dew, players like Dew are going to be having fun, right? I don't know if my eyes were deceiving me earlier because when we did spot AG Global, I thought I saw an unrealistically large number of eliminations on the squad. And I was half expecting to see them show up in the final circle with so much of chaos because so many teams were surviving so long in this lobby, man. I think up to maybe the 11th, 12th minute, we still had 11 squads standing. So, yeah, that was ridiculous.
We didn't find as many squad wipes, right? And I think we will see this up in the highlights here because AG had an incredibly long fight, especially after the first initial engagements, right?
Yeah.
Here is where they were playing by Delta Isles, right? Initially, the Delta Isles fight was like pretty clean overall. They came in as a third party, but GOW, they ended up getting the revives. They come back into the fight, and that's when they get even more. And then by Casa Vista as well, same exact thing started to occur. WAG shows up. 3 different squads showed up at very separate times, isolating it into basically a clash squad mode, which AG dominated each and every one of them. And then as they transitioned into the mid game, nothing happened.
Dude, at that point when you were looking at Dew secure that 2v1 situation, they had 15 eliminations and the rest of the AG squad members were being revived. 15 eliminations strong. And look at the top 5 eliminations, man. You've actually got Dew up there as well. I am in shock right now. I'm quite curious to see what those points are, but we'll have to give the highlights to the Booyah takers. The Oscar, Steffi, Nero, Skylar, the option this time round. The Riptide Rhythm is not the strongest skill to be playing out there, but in the sniper meta, perhaps it is not too bad of a choice to double down to.
It's a pretty effective method to catch people off guard, and most importantly, it kind of enables Tikwe to play the game where he can flexibly use his Valiant dash. He doesn't necessarily have to use it as a engagement tool, right? Yeah. He can just show himself, applies the pressure, and once PLS1 drops down the Riptide rhythm, that's when Tikwe can play a little bit more flexibly.
Look at the numbers here. It is ridiculous. They've managed to gather a total of 20 eliminations just between their 4, and that's a massive game for WAG for a 32 bomber. What in the world am I looking at here? 19 eliminations for AG Global, 0 placement points. This has to be a record. I don't think I have ever seen this ever.
19. How many of them were the GOW members? That's what I need to know. How many of them were the same people just dying to them over and over again? 19 with 0 placement points already net them the 3rd place. It just really goes to show, right?
Oh yeah.
Especially for teams who are on that recovery phase. If we're looking at Magda, Aurora, even RRQ, the only team getting wiped out, not having an opportunity to actually find multiple revives. Same goes for BRU. It's just not happening anymore. All these Vietnamese squads are like, we're done with this.
How the hell does AG Global do that? This was a ridiculous game, and now they are leading with 39 eliminations in the 2nd spot as far as the Predators of the lobby is concerned. And they have got no booyahs to their name. They're sitting in the 5th spot, but this was one hell of a game. I think we got to keep an eye on AG Global the next 2 matches.
Yeah, we got to keep our eyes on them if they find that huge elimination hungry early game, because I'm feeling bad for Flash and Gao. They're looking at this like we spent the past 4 games working up to get some placement points and elims, and it took AG 1 to catch up.
What a day it is here. Bigatron by Vitality, as suspected, is still in the top 3. In fact, they are the #1 squad, holding on to their position. Heavy and Avida are uncomfortably close at this point of time. But you can see, looking at what the positions are held here by a majority of the squads in the top 6, one decent game can really shift the standings. I would not be surprised if Flash pulls off a phenomenal game. Imagine if AG Global pulls off a game like that again and actually gets to the final circle. They're going to be in that #1 spot. No if, buts, or maybes about it.
Possibly. I don't know if they could simulate that again in Kalahari, right? I can't think of a placement unless we get like a skewed flight path. Then maybe there's an opportunity, because man, how many times do you get a third party upon third party upon third party and you beat every single squad without taking any retaliation back? The most is losing your partner.
Again, man, I've never seen 19 eliminations, 0 placement points. That was a ridiculous early game. They got eliminated way too early, but they just shrugged that off. In fact, I can imagine Dew laughing his head off at the end of that matchup because of what they pulled off, man. I mean, brilliant stuff off of these players. And here's a squad that has been running around these lobbies for the past 4 matches, not shooting at anyone. They barely have any eliminations, Buriram, and I think they're doing it on purpose.
It really feels like they're looking to only play for booyahs, right? Try to simulate and set up as many positions as possible so they can start practicing for that champion rush right at the very end of the tournament.
Yeah, this is crazy. Aurora facing some challenges out there, and you would think that they would be doing fairly bad, but they're doing better than Buriram. Aurora is doing better than RRQ. They are doing fine right now, technically speaking. Buriram and RRQ are doing very badly, but at least they're better.
Yeah, it's still day #1, so let's see how far they can actually go with this to set themselves up for some more later down the line, especially since they've got to face off against Group C tomorrow for Group B'ers. But now we start jumping over into our next map, and we're hoping that things are going to be, honestly, kind of the same. A lot of action in the first 4 minutes in our last map. We're hoping for the exact same thing, except with more team eliminations for those juicy placement points at the very end.
Yeah, we're cooking it up. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we head on into map #5, it's time for Kalahari. Now the snipers get to show us exactly how dominant they want to be in this season.
All right, looks like very slight, it's still a pretty neutral flight path all across the board. Skews slightly down to the southern side of Santa Cruz Arena as well as Maze, making Shrines and Old Hampton a little harder to get to, but still should be okay for everybody in general. I am curious, Refinery, what are we going to do about this? Because RRQ and BTR have opted, oh, this is our spot, and then later in the year they decided to play outside of it and then eventually rotate to it mid-game.
Man. Early engagement here for Avida. The players are looking for a big one here. But up against GOW and RRQ, they have to be very careful. Because no information whatsoever for the players who are playing. They don't know who they're engaging with because we've turned off the elimination feed. I know it sounds mean, but it's really fun.
Well, now that they're blind, they're just going to have to take these engagements really honestly. AVD doing a pretty good job at controlling their side of the map here by RRQ looking to scout the outer sector and making sure that the northwestern side is still within their quadrant. GOW has not moved, and the UAV is going to reaffirm their worst fears that they are currently surrounded from all angles.
But Avida just taking their own time here. Yan almost spotted out double back. Oh! And did he have a Mag 7? Well, Tawan's going to pick it up right now for himself. The double Vector's doing well in that situation. Early game. Not a lot of armor on their opponents. Long Kong, beautifully played. Just dodging away. The A124 has not gone in for the thrill of the battle just yet. Waiting for the perfect timing as Tawan hops on in as well. Thrill of the battle finally activated, forcing GOW to scramble away, and RRQ picking this time to interfere.
A really good third as they find 2 points immediately. Pablo all by himself as they break through his cover. A 3v4 scenario, but Ranze, he's already found one. Abe loses his head. Anuis is the next to fall, and Long Kong has to hold on and turn it into a 1v1, but unfortunately doesn't get it. A double kill for Ranzier. Great opening picks.
Brilliantly played here by RRQ, and the timing that they pulled off there. We hope you guys can't hear the gunshots that we can hear right now.
Don't worry, it's Arena Free Fire's attempt at the next song. This is the beat. This is the beat they're gonna work with. While I'm already down on his knees though, Esports look to actually catch him by Refinery side. Where's the rest of the WAG members? They're sitting by the rig itself and unfortunately didn't find enough back. They only got LBT in Laho, but looks like LBT holding an underneath position, a forward position even, allowing PE Esports to take more space.
Yeah, brilliant rescue mission here by PE Esports, and now they spot WAG backing away, and they want a piece of them. Quickly repositioning. Bigatron by Vitality on the other hand. At the shrine, spotting out Magna Esports. Keeping an eye on them, Koja, as the rest of his team members get into position, waiting for him to open fire.
Yeah, pretty awkward place to be in, especially if you haven't cleared your backs, and Magna already losing a member because of it. Cut to GOW by the ridge. Down by Council Hall here. We do see that. Oh, wow. That's a pretty far split down into Council Hall. Not sure how he got here in the first place, but it looks like he's on a recovery spree himself, right?
Death takes out a player from the side of Evidax KDC. Anusid hits that revival. And they are right back in it. Just forced back again and again. Anusid now maybe can secure this elimination for himself. Bigatron by Vitality. Booking an appointment with Flash. All thanks to the hook gun. Mink gets away. Over Joel with a flank. Kar98 finding its mark.
And another shot. Back to back. Joel connects both of them, eliminating PE Esports from a vital position that they were holding. They could have gone flanked even harder, but unfortunately, it's going to be Flash who's taking the majority of that damage here. They still haven't completely won this ridge just yet, and that's going to be a full team wipeout. There you have it. BTR take out Flash at 11th.
Oh, Joel looking really, really sharp with the M24 and Kar98 combination. Deal with the headshot onto Zebang. Looks like AG Global wants a piece of this fight. And because they managed to pull off a decent shot, do they go in for the hunt as well? AG Global on the chase from the back. Bigatron by Vitality. Trying to put great distance between themselves and the AG players as quickly as possible. Hook gun in hand. And they are out of there.
Really good decision making coming in for BTI. They recognized that Flash's ABCD was running in this direction, and they can only assume that they cleared it out. So they make their way in the same path, hoping that there's going to be the least amount of resistance here. As they make it into the launch pad, they should be able to gain some distance over the river and down by the next compound in a safer area.
Yeah, Flash NP Esports tapped out already. But Aurora versus Avida KDC. Big fight at the Council Hall. Avida looking for the recovery play. Aurora looking for some desperate points to climb the leaderboard.
Oh, they got a flank on the high ground here, so let's remember, Azriel has to lead the charge. And that's what they do. They want to get Long Kong in as well as Pablo. Long Kong going to buy a little bit of time. Swings just to distract them, but now they quickly turn on towards Pablo's side. Lock him back in. Isolate these fights. Careful of that window. Gets a back shot onto Pablo's side, but they still can't take him out. Finally, he goes down the axle. Able to find the headshot as well. That's going to be 2 members already down for AVD.
Yeah, Pablo with a panic play, and Aurora instantly going in for the hit list purchase to hunt down the remaining players on the side of Avida. Tawan found as well. Axel gets the VSK annihilation. And Avida X KDC biting the dust early here on our Kalahari map.
Nearly juked them in the dark. Now we cut back towards heavy side by confinement. GOW has been on a revival spree this entire game. Haven't been able to find their footing just yet. And looks like they want to minimize the amount of engagements they've already had this game. Deciding to head up? No. Looks like they're going out into the blue instead.
Such scattered fights all around the battlefield. We need the squads to find their rhythm so that we can paint a better picture here, because at the moment it just seems like chaos in Southeast Asia as these teams bump into each other after so many months of rest.
Hey yo, what's BRU doing here on this side of the map? And they're moving fast into containment. They've already taken the outer compounds past the roadside. And they're coming up from the south side really quickly. Heavy looking to respond. Needs to reinforce their current positions. Their northern side compound is locked down, but they want to even flank on the opposite side. They call it, finding another engagement on the opposite end. In a 1v1 scenario, Wasana needs to be able to win this out, but he has the help of the electrotherapy to win the 1v1 against Demon. Frontline down. Heavy now starting to press in. Mufasa has the high ground. Wouldn't be able to make contact. Oh, the hook gun! He sees a little too late, and Wasana takes most of his HP out and loses it to Mufasa at the very end with the help of the Valiant Dash. And get high. The next to fall, they have to coordinate when they start scaling it up, and Moshi should die here to the blue. Nope, he heals it past. He should be able to get out. No! Halfway across the map, Buhoy gets him.
Oh, what a play by Heavy. Unfortunate for Buriram. It looked like they were actually going all out there in that fight, but they just got smashed like bugs. Buriram caught out by that lightning zone as well. Phenomenal play by the Vietnamese squad. And your 3-time world champs, in fact, current reigning defending world champ, taken out like they were no competition at all. RRQ now up against AG Global, who are looking to farm big in this match as well.
Very aggressive call from AG Global. Abe as well using Valiant to break open the initial glue walls and finds one in Nameless. Ma'al ends up losing his head in the meantime, but now Baros, he wants to go for this revive. Abe is going to say no, denies him that space as Ramsey comes crashing through to find the team wipeout.
What a play. And what a response by RRQ. Big in front by Vitality, finding the players on the side of Magna. Squad wipe after squad wipe is what we are seeing. Digs down on the ground, but Koja breaks down the defenses just in the nick of time to get the revenge. And WAG looking to be the third party here as Magna gets sorted out. Big in front by Vitality has not secured a recovery just yet. The players are really low, but great blue walls all being erected at the very same time. Big in front by Vitality just hanging on for their dear lives.
Yep, and even the crime man being thrown. Koja finally gets back up on his feet, but no! Sebek, he's the first to fall. Now Tikui's already in. They're forced to play this 3v4, and now they have to back away with no means of escape. It's all forward, and Dixie's already found one. Huang Up takes out Joel as we see the rest push on in. BTR by Vitality get eliminated by WAG.
Yeah, brilliant opportunity spotted and well executed by WAG. Looking for the big one here, WAG. A back-to-back booyah to launch themselves into the conversation for that #1 spot to be the champion of the day. To earn a little bit of extra bonus, 250 USD. Who does not want that? WAG is definitely smiling as they can smell the cash.
Oh yeah, and now they don't have to really move for the next ring. They just have to control foundation side. They need to be the ones gatekeeping. They don't need to worry too much about that northern side if they're on higher elevation. They just have to deny space. For Heavy alongside with GOW, I'm pretty sure they're not 100% certain how many teams are actually sitting inside of foundation. They're going to have to risk it for the biscuit here to get some info.
Good rotation, looking for the dead zone in the middle at foundation here. Anticipating the circle to arrive there shortly. As WAG finds a spot to build their foundation on the opposite side of this river. RRQ getting themselves into a decent spot as well. Look at Vietnam. Final 5 and 3 of them from the country.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure whether it could go bad for them, right? They are risking it to put themselves in a position where if the ring pulls up to the northern side past that river, that body of water, WAG can make this rotation from that left side. But RRQ, they're aware of this, right? They're looking at WAG. They have no choice. They can't really push them out or flush them out of that position. They're waiting for the next circle to guarantee whether or not their suspicions are correct.
RRQ's on a massive run now. 16 eliminations strong. It's playing it on the very edge of the circle. Oh, but Heavy dropping by to say hello. Abe has got eyes on them. Ma'al now going in for the approach. They find a decent reposition to put a little bit of space between the Vietnamese squad of Heavy and themselves.
Dang, that was so lucky. Ma'al walks away. Honestly, that should have been a pick there, but Heavy decide to just play as gatekeepers. They want to control this outside and force RRQ deeper in or make a move. They know that WAG is looking towards them. They heard the shots from earlier. Now we just need to see where this ring pulls. Will it pull to the southern side, or is it going to pull to the northern side? Oh, that's the worst.
The full squad here. RRQ. Enough information to understand exactly where the squad of Heavy is. And now the circle favors the veterans RRQ. Heavy gonna be under heavy pressure shortly from the circle. You can see the position held on here by Ranzai and Abe, who calls out for the lightning zone though. Is this Heavy or RRQ? It is Heavy. Smart play by the Vietnamese squad.
They're forcing them indoors, allowing them opportunities to actually take compounds for themselves. This is a pretty dangerous position to be in. No matter what, WAG has got a lock on everything that is happening on the northern side past the body of water. This entire time, though, GOW, I would have assumed that they're coming from the southern side and pulled the attention, but oh, wait a minute, no, they're not directly within foundation.
That's a damn good reposition by Heavy, using the bolt maker, scaring RRQ, who were looking to be aggressive back into their compound, and they took position well. Uhui mopped up already on the opposite side, and here now comes Heavy. The players just breaking down those defenses. Ma'al dudes both down on the ground. M590s all striking big time here for Heavy. Abe backing away with the hook gun. Struck from the back. It's got the inhaler in hand. Just for a quick recovery. Ranzai, on the other hand, stuck between a rock and a hard place. Many players on the side of Heavy. Oh, great blue wall. Ranzai gets away.
He's isolated the fight again. Alan and Mufasa are trying to trade against a 2v2, but he tries to pull them out into the open. Unfortunately, WAG, they bite on him and not the bigger fish. RRQ get eliminated from that northern side, but on the southern front, we see that GOW is actually facing off against Aurora, the Axel. He's the dedicated sniper, and 3 of his frontline members jumped into that war, and they've already lost their lives.
Yeah, the Axel's just stuck, man. Just can't get into a better spot. GOW takes advantage, will snuff out the rest of the Aurora players. Can they get the loot though? A little too late, and they will be scared back by the blue zone. We'll take a little bit of damage here. Demon now spotted out, but WAG rotating out in the open ground. And the sniper meta will have those snipers do the damage out here as expected in Kalahari. The VSK, the M82B, everything in action as GOW punishes WAG for the open circle.
Yeah, this is what I was worried about, right? It would cut the map in half, body of water in the middle, and then pulls towards that western side, giving a huge advantage over the GOW. Now that Heavy has won that northern side, they make that first move past the body of water to secure themselves a pretty good spot, covered from WAG, but close enough to keep GOW in check.
This is the final battle sequence. 3 Vietnamese squad looking for the booyah. Up against one Malaysian team who has no chance. And as I say that, final shot is taken, putting Aurora out of a little misery there, looking for some sort of a survival. Now Heavy battles WAG and GOW for the booyah. And if WAG can have the perfect say in this, that would be to have Heavy and GOW do the damage up against each other. They sneak away that booyah.
I don't know. Considering that these are 3 Vietnamese squads, I would only assume it's standard play. Both GOW and Heavy are going to be looking towards the side. And now that that first pick is gone, Heavy now turn their attention towards GOW to try and catch any of their forward members. They see Dion, and they're throwing ordnance. Dion has no way to get back in. Demon loses his high ground, and Mufasa and Don't Cry take the compound. Mufasa ends up getting one tap. Hans gets traded. Don't Cry still holding strong. Demon in the blue. Don't Cry unfortunately goes down at the worst possible time. Alan just got into the compound. He's trying to get Mufasa back up on his feet, and Demon trying to deny but doesn't have the angle just yet.
Sends out the glue UAV just to barricade himself up. Grenades flying in from the back. GOW wondering exactly how do they sort this out. They could not pick up their team member just yet. Demon and Hans backing away now, looking for Alan. Alan has the M590, but it's a 2v1. Demon gets the knock alongside Hans, and GOW secures a decent booyah for themselves on Kalahari.
And huge plays by the sniper player coming in from Gao, holding back 2 members. How in the world did they get the revive on to Mufasa back into full HP just for him to get dinked back to back? GOW come up huge here.
What a play by Vietnam. A massive game. This was that final shot as the Heavy players were trying to get into position, but Dian just merciless with the plays off of the SVD in the perfect flanking position. Their rushes pulling that distraction, making so much of noise, and the sniper of the squad rejoicing the position he held to pull that perfect finisher for GOW.
GOW, after recovering the entire early to mid game, they find a amazing pull of the ring right when it mattered the most by Foundation side. Oh, dude, that ring was super influential. I mean, RRQ could have some better odds, could have had a little bit better odds. Honestly, Heavy beating RRQ on that northern side changed everything for them. And honestly, it shouldn't have been as clean of a fight with so many members. Aurora Malaysia down by the eastern side, GOW by the western side, and WAG literally right across the water.
Yeah, massive stuff, right? And RRQ got eliminated so early, and just like the story of AG Global earlier, they had a massive number of eliminations, but of course they did not go for the record. They didn't have 0 placement points for themselves. They survived quite a while before getting taken out. So this was a decent recovery game for RRQ, but they're still going to be towards the bottom half of the leaderboard, which is hella surprising. And do I even need to talk about Buriram? Buriram got smashed this time. I think they barely got more than 5 points off of this Kalahari lobby, which is just a shocker.
Yeah, they lost their ones, unfortunately. Their class squad wasn't as clean, and, well, you know, once you're at a disadvantage like that, it's pretty difficult to recover once the chips are laid down on the ground. Maybe that could change. I don't know. At least for RRQ, it felt, I want to say it felt slightly better. The good times were rolling for a little bit before it ended.
That most definitely was the case. The Malaysian teams just having a little bit of a better time in terms of picking up some points, but just not as much as we expect them to, right? Aurora doing so much better compared to the previous 2 games. Purgatory and Solara just didn't see the points really strong on the side of Aurora this time around. I think their eliminations were decent. They survived long enough for us to actually just catch some action from them. but still, I think it's going to be asking for a lot to see Aurora climb very high up the leaderboard. They're still going to be somewhere down the bottom alongside Buriram. So it's a challenging day for them because this next one is going to be the final one. Purgatory, actually I'm calling out Purgatory. I don't even know what map is it on the randomizer. I think it's going to be Purgatory based on, the fact that we just want to torture these players with a lot of those, open, clear areas, right? Earlier, the circle on Purgatory was just devastating, Gideon.
Yeah, no, very, very devastating. Not too many games usually end up like that. Most of the time, usually it ends up in nicer spaces, but hey, every once in a while, we still get one of these bad ones. Let's look at the game highlights and really analyze exactly what happened, right? Because we've seen many different facets of the game, the early game being hyper-aggressive, the mid-game being particularly tough for recovering teams, but it's these late-game scenarios which got me thinking, right? Because it feels like the reads were good for the first 4 maps. This time around, I feel like they were over-reading the rotations, and it ended up being like, oh, I'm holding to gatekeep a position that honestly, probably I should have left alone.
Yeah, like Shah Rukh Khan would say, man, picture abhi baki hai. So all of the other squads looking to climb this leaderboard that's being dominated by, I would say, the underdogs of the competition. Bigatron by Vitality hasn't really been a big predator. Heavy has never been a big predator, but they are the ones making the steady climb up the leaderboard. Avida XKDC, I expected more from them in this lobby, but it just wasn't their game. And instead, it was GOW that made the big climb, running the Morse, Nero, Oscar, as well as Chrono. Those Chrono definitely coming in for the clutch save earlier on. Just a little surprised that Hans wasn't running the Olivia alongside the Thiva, but he was looking to play a very aggressive game at the end of the day as well.
Yeah, he kind of wanted to be with the rest of his team. It kind of feels like he wanted to set up for Zayn and then ended up with Chrono at the end of it. But even so, I still think the Time Turner was doing a lot of good work, especially in the early stages of the game where it feels like a traditional Clash Squad style. That Time Turner really makes the difference. We even see it from WAG running a somewhat similar lineup, except with different passive abilities.
Absolutely. And of course, he didn't really get a lot of eliminations with that Chrono, but at least you see the assist making a lot of sense out of Hans. He was throwing in all of that damage, all of those shots. The rest of the team members getting the heavy picking done out there when it comes to those elimination numbers. And the game standings will have GOW sit at the very top with their Booyah and 14 eliminations. RRQ Kazu with the 6 placement points and the 16 eliminations jump into that second spot, followed by Heavy with the 21. Down at the bottom, you see PE Sports, Flash, and Buriram.
You're seeing the victims of RRQ plus whoever also happened to be in the area, because RRQ was going on quite the third-party streak, and unfortunately for some of these teams, they just happened to be the victims in the middle of those early fights. And RRQ Kazu, yes, they did lose 1 or 2 members, but they were able to recover without too much loss. It's not like a complete reset like we've seen with Magna, or even Aurora for that matter. They also had to take full resets in that game, which is probably why they're coming in with such weak weaponry in the later stages.
And Bigatron by Vitality and Heavy up at the very top, followed by GOW, Avida XKDC. Down at the bottom of our overall leaderboard, you can see the 2 Malaysian squads just finding this lobby to be a difficult one, although I am very glad to see them pick up decent points. Aurora doing better than Buriram and PE Sports at this point of time, so Malaysia still does have some sort of a hope here. We did have that one decent match off of them on the side of Aurora, but we want to see a little bit more to be comfortable. But on to the map selector now we go. The randomizer, we have missed it for a long time, Gideon, and now it makes its comeback.
Oh, I'm feeling the nostalgia here. Here we go with the new graphic of our map selector. What are we going to get for our very final map to unleash the fire here? Doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. It's still going. What are we gonna get?
Yeah, let's see what we get. Do I get the lucky guess of Purgatory, or do we get tortured by Kalahari? Back to Bermuda to start Okay, alright, let's go. Lucky guess name for myself. So a little bit of a boo-boo turns out to be a premonition. We head back into Purgatory. Maybe Heavy can get the back-to-back Purgatory Booyah completed to overtake Bigatron on that #1 spot. Your underdog is about to become the predator of the day, Gideon.
Oh boy, I mean the numbers are very close to each other. Let's find out whether or not this is going to be it here on Purgatory. Because last time we went on Purgatory, that early game was really wacky. We saw a lot of teams not completely getting wiped out, but getting farmed the entire time. Now, Heavy was the last team who got the booyah on Purgatory. Let's see if they can do it again, because this would be huge for them to build confidence in week 1, day 1.
Yeah, Gao, I believe Heavy, both these two Vietnamese squads did very well at Purgatory. So this cannot go any better for the Vietnamese fans right here, right now. Buriram got 4 points on Purgatory earlier. So they're one of those teams that really needs to buck up this time round if they want some points, because Buriram looks like they are not serious at all right now. Or I mean, it's very difficult for me to think that they are serious, right? This cannot be Buriram.
They're just lizard people in the same skin, right? Now, like, they feel like they're playing uncharacteristically, but at the same time, even RRQ, they have more fluctuation in their performance that we're more okay with that, because they haven't achieved that world title just yet. I think that BRU, once they flip the switch, they're going to do the RRQ of I'm a third party everybody and just farm the eliminations.
I don't know if BRU needs third-party situations when they flip that switch, man. I think they're just going to be busting through everybody they spot out there. But we're going to be gearing up for the final game of the day. As you guys have seen it, it is going to be at Purgatory. But of course, let's see what the flight path is going to be looking like in a little bit. Whether it's going to be torturing the squads as we head on out for a potential skewed flight path for a brand new plane here.
No more lucky guesses here, AJ. We need to see something a little bit more neutral if you want to see our teams unleash the fire as we head back on over. Tell us, survivors, are you a believer? Whether you are or not, welcome to Purgatory.
As we open up this match, it seems like a decent flight path will be blessing the squads who are not looking for early chaos, especially if they are one of the ones who have been struggling down at the bottom. They've got Heavy looking for the top spot. Bigatron by Vitality looking to survive and keep it, but they are going to go head-to-head at Forge. The early hot drop between the top two squads of our day 1 here.
Okay. Let's see how this is going to break out, because again, BTR didn't land directly onto Forge. They have a little bit of a trailing line towards the back, so they won't be able to get the best weaponry possible, but they can deny POIs early on. Now, BTR has two decisions, one decision. Do they want to hold these positions to buy time, or are they going to send their back 2 members to go find for another space? And it looks like they're going to go for a wide spread onto Heavy.
It looks like the flank might just be pulled off successfully here, as Bigatron by Vitality will send one survivor away to play Revival and try to overcome this challenge at this Forge with just 3 players on their side. They do have the confidence because of the guns picked up by the Bigatron players so far. They do have a couple of snipers. Sibang finding a good shot. Allen, MP40. Up against the MAC-10. MAC-10 still doing much better.
Marks in the corner and make it all happen. And they find 2. Koja gets them both. Mufasa Allen begging for more, but Buhoy is able to at least get one back into Koja. They've taken out their main lead here. They can get this revive. That'd be awesome, Dix. Fortunately, have to break it halfway. That's totally fine, though. He can tie back in, and with the help of Seebeck, they take out Heavy. No problem here. Very nice as they win this fight. Buhoy should be able to make it out. Luckily, turning and bobbing and weaving, Joel and able to find the driver's seat.
I mean, what a play by Bigatron by Vitality here. Sending one survivor away, keeping 3 players to take on an uneven battle. They had the shorter end of the stick, but they overwhelmed the players of Heavy, sending them scrambling for those revivals. Now, Buriram up against Aurora. Let's see if Buriram wants to shoot. Ojona out in the open.
I mean, it feels like they kind of have to shoot right now. That'd be great. Somebody, Mochi, quickly drops down the glue wall just in time. The time turner keeps them protected from Jonah's flank, and now it's a little too late. Oh, they still found the pick, and now Jonah can get one more. This fight should seal the deal as Zeus unfortunately loses his head to Mochi. Good push and pull. The awareness of angles is great, and Aurora, they do find one back in Wasada, but BRU, they get to make the choice of whether to move on with this fight or to back away, and it looks like the decision is to actually re-establish the battle lines. He knows where Jun is. They want this fight, and they want it bad.
Well, Jun managed to get away here, but Mochi right in front of him. But Get IXL with the MA2B managing to shoot him out of that monster truck. So getting away from Buriram when they are hunting 4 points. WAG on the other hand with the 4 eliminations already, making a great big plea now to Heavy to just lay down their arms and give this one up. Don't look for the #1 spot, but of course in your dreams, says Heavy, they are running right in for this fight.
They want it, unfortunately, made a little bit too far for the Valiant dash. Luckily, because of Tikwe's sacrifice, the rest of WAG gets to go on a revive spree, looking for spaces to play, and are on the recovery. We'll see whether or not they actually survive that mid-game. Considering everything that has happened, a lot of these Vietnamese squads somehow are able to pull through. Dude, getting a good headshot onto one of the Magna members here. AG, a very wide spread overall.
Now, AG Global. Let's focus on Avida for the time being then, I guess. So Avida XKDC setting this one up for themselves. A freebie off of PE Sports is not going to be... Oh my lord, I thought that was impossible. Pablo with the VSS. That's those accurate sprays. Looking for more off of PE Sports.
Well, nothing but raw faith and blind mechanics here, right? Just catching him right at the edge here. Real good use of the auto-aim system, but now... Bridge has been compromised. They know that one of the other PE members should be relatively nearby to narrow. If not, yep, they already know it. They're all by the beachfront north of Fire Brigade.
Only one elimination so far on the side of Avida at PE Sports. Not really choosing to go all out in that battle. Looking for those revivals. WAG on the other hand, look at PLS1 just picking up those coins. Surviving long enough as Dudes waits for him to clear the area. But PLS1 just chilling at this vending machine way too long, man.
Yeah,
does he know Dudes is there?
Yeah, I think he's aware. I think he heard his util being used. He heard the inhaler, right? And now he's going to... Does he have... Yeah, he has enough coins. He's going to pick up one more. Yeah, he definitely should have a rough idea. He's already got his full team members back, so whatever happens really doesn't matter.
Now he's spotted out in the open. PLS1 just gave a freebie. Uh-oh. Here comes the rest of the RRQ players who were revived. This is not looking good. Lauho shooting Ma'al out of the skies. PLS1, big opportunity earlier, but Dudes just runs him down.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate there. Thank you for the 12 med packs and your glue wall, sir. And Tikwe, I probably shouldn't have taken those shots and probably should have walked away from the scenario, because now it's going to be another wild goose chase for RRQ as they waste more time on the very first ring, but the blue barely even tickles them at this point. They can do this forever until round 3.
RRQ versus WAG is just turning out into a battle that I don't want to see anymore. AG Global, ABCD, moving on in with the Valiant Dash. Nameless caught out already. Barros with the M79. Can the grenade launcher find something here? ABCD is the prize as Cypher runs through them. M590 to the head of Mink. And now from afar, the God with the godlike snipes onto the AG players.
He's not missing a beat right now. Ooh, targeting the vehicle. Good choice here from the Zom, forcing Barros to actually do it the good old-fashioned way. Makna is nearby. Oh, wait, hold on. Did they know where he is? Oh, Barros now shows himself, ends up losing his head, and BRU takes him out. Where was BRU in all of this?
Yeah, but I'm finally looking for some points out there. The usual monsters allowing everybody else a 5-game head start before they look to catch up on the points. I really wonder how far they can go with this.
Yeah, they already have 9 points in the bag. They've got their full squad crawling up on the high ground as well towards the northwestern side, and we'll see, because we still have 12 squads despite it being 7 minutes and 30 seconds into the game, moving into the second ring. I would have imagined that there would have been a lot more eliminations at this stage of the game. Wow, they're still hovering around the same spots.
Like I said, I just don't want to watch this fight anymore, man. They have taken so long to annihilate each other. And clearly doing a very bad job at this. But it seems to be working in terms of farming points for WAG.
It's a slow and grueling process here. So now we see Aurora. It looks like they were able to get back on their feet, but they're caught out in a pretty awkward crossfire between Flash and AG. AG about to double up on a certain position here. Barros now going to be the focus and the attention of Aurora as they get right up into the house. Now they just need to win this fight against Barros. It's a dangerous fight though. He jumps down to the lower ground and that could expose the rest of the Aurora members as AG now take the high ground up on the hill.
AG up against the plays on the side of Aurora. Oh, Cypher's arrived already. Here comes the electrotherapy on the combination as well. Axel with a BSK. Can't jump up just yet. Nameless just flies on in, getting those knobs. Barros with a Mag 10. And Jun, the final survivor, can't do much in this situation. Focuses on the pickup instead. Okay, alright. And he won't be able to pull this off. Aurora might still stand a chance.
Okay, okay. Nearest POI is in that center island. I'm pretty sure his squad's already there. Oh, so he's thinking about it. Ah, misses it, but gets the second one. Luckily recovers, luckily recovers. Now, bit of wasted resources on the opposite side there, but now PP not happy with the pick at all. Looking right up through the warehouse and forcing Simnek to actually go into Morse.
Goja for Bigatron by Vitality up against AG Global now. PE Esports setting it up right behind them alongside GOW looking for the snipes onto AG. This is a four-way battle. And Aurora looking to make it into 5.
It's getting very hectic here in the second ring. Marble Works finally getting contested, and BRU more than happy with the points they have, but if Heavy are the only squads that want to fight, I think BRU is more than happy to actually get involved. Oh, Wasana with the entry, the A1 hits on all 3 members, and it's good! Wasana, LBT finds one individual well all of a sudden, but even better, we see that at least throughout the glue walls being thrown, not a single person has gone down. Finally, Allen, the first to fall. Don't Cry trying to get involved. The Riptide Rhythm goes wide as Mufasa finds a trade for the sake of Allen. Unfortunately, nobody can pick up Joel, but that's fine for BRU because nobody is eliminated. The last member of Heavy forced to run, tail between his legs.
Merciless by Buriram this time around. Being personally putting a stop to Heavy's run, who are looking for the #1 spot. And it looks like Heavy, the first squad to get annihilated, and Bigatron by Vitality, thanks to Buriram, will get to hold on to their #1 spot.
Yup, and Buriram very happy to sit by Marbleworks. They can keep on sitting here as the ring has pulled towards their side of the island, which is an amazing position to play from now that they just cleared the last remaining squad controlling it. Now AG, they should be able to clean this up real quick. Nolan's already dead, and some good headshots here from Do to make it even quicker.
Barros with the Trogon just on standby now. They're in a decent compound because the vending machines on them. Circle is in their favor. AG Global doesn't need to do much, but because this is a vending machine, it's just going to be the prime point all the other squads look for once these bodies start hitting the floor.
Sitting by the package north of Marbleworks here. BRU showing minimal presence, but just making sure that those shots are targeted towards the people to deter them from walking into their zone, right? They just want to make sure that their backs are clear. Look up towards North Marbleworks. They even throw UAVs as well, but now we caught on over to Aurora as wait, BTR get eliminated here. Wasn't expecting that all of a sudden, but GOW, they're not done just yet. AG looking to control their compound here, and Aurora gets the revive somehow.
Look at Vietnam go, man. Heavy, GOW, WAG in the top 5. In fact, 2 squads still vying for the #1 spot. This could just be a possibility here if Gao holds on.
Well, this has been a very slow lobby here. A lot of recovery, and they find one more. Moshi takes out Jun. Tikwe at least finds the last one of the few remaining members of Macna. They haven't found a spot in the ring just yet, but they're more than happy to take their time, right? Eventually they should, once they start making their way into town, they can hear the shots, and RRQ taking plenty of damage here as you see Captain Jonah himself launching from afar, making sure that the tax is a little too high for RRQ. Magna bow out in 10th.
Magna out in 10th, RRQ about to bow out in 9th as well. A sliver of health left on the player, but it's Esports that bows out first. Before them, RRQ gets the pickup. And the boys are hanging on. Aurora out in 8th. Bodies hitting the floor one after the other. This is that point. AG Global is going to be under a lot of pressure as players start looking for that vending machine.
Yep, all the teams who had stagnant members or at least not a full squad have been eliminated, with the only exception being RRQ. Everybody else still at full fighting capabilities. The next ring has pushed it deeper into the open area of Marble Works, with only the northwestern side having compounds to play with. I'm pretty sure that the southwestern side also has a couple of compounds, but it looks like the Thunder Call has been called down on the southern side.
Vita XKDC looking to end the day just like how they started with a booyah. God Nate there. Buriram still looking for RRQ by the looks of it. Team Flash in a messy little fight up against Vita XKDC. One player down on the ground. Flash on the other hand, ABCD. Great move. Oh! ABCD, what a daring move. But it doesn't pay off. It just slows down Avita.
Okay, they can still get ABCD back up. They're controlling the tight angles here, but they need to start healing now before the blue starts taxing them even further. Ah, no, Mink! He didn't realize it soon enough, and now the Riptide Rhythm opens up that close angle, allowing ABD to start spilling in. ABCD takes the punishment, and the rest of them will just have to eat it. Pablo finds 4 kills, team wiping out Flash.
Wow, Avita XKDC still alive and kicking, although pressured deeply by that circle. In that engagement, they played that stressful situation so well, and now hanging on for their dear lives. And Hussein down on the ground, but close enough to his buddy. That pickup is not going to be impossible. AG Global trying to put an end to it though. 16 eliminations in the hands of Buriram, looking for a spot in the next circle, but under a ton of pressure from both RRQ and WAG.
Oh, the A1 hits on all 4, and BRU have an opportunity, but Get High gets taxed a little too much. Wasana slowly working the angles here, going wider and wider as the Thunder is being called on the entire ring. Everybody on the outside is going to get taxed for a bit of their HP, and WAG understand if they hold their angles, 4 of them together, it should be strong enough. But BRU, they finally find the opening, break it open. They don't see it. The glue wall still holds strong. Too many resources as Captain Jonah calls for the retreat. WAG hold their angles still as they creep up to the edge. No space to play.
Yeah, brilliantly played here by Buriram, not overcommitting in that battle, just kind of teasing the players on the side of WAG. Wasana unable to find one with that valiant dash, but now, as they circle around back, they annihilate RRQ instead in 6th.
Look at the suppressing fire. Look at the amount of lead being traded by all teams from every corner of this 5th zone. BRU taking the ordnance damage here. Wasana, don't go down. No, doesn't matter. They still have electric therapy. Demon, what? Doesn't get as much distance as he wants to. Goes for the flank on BRU's member at 1 HP, finally getting punished. Hans looking for the rescue here to get his boy back up. Use the time turner for it to guarantee it, and Demon back up to his feet.
WAG forcing Buriram to use every single glue wall they have in their pockets. And what a valiant dash by Wasana, breaking down all of the defenses, and now GOW in a little bit of trouble. WAG understands that the team that they were trying to pressure might just be open for the picking as they rush in towards GOW. WAG trying to stab them from the back, but Buriram not letting go that easy. They pressure GOW away, and they keep WAG thinking twice as well if or not they should rush.
Oh no, the ring around Rosies were looking so good, but as soon as all hell started to break loose, AG turned their sights onto LVD. Now that they're out, GOW is taking a significant amount of damage, and BRU is one of the only squads with all 4 of their members still alive. WAG
Smart.
still creeping up behind them. They're still following them. Ah! GOW.
Buriram reading the circle well, and now they've got the advantage up against GOW. The circle leading Buriram right towards GOW. And they played their glue walls so well. How many glue walls did Buriram have to make sure WAG does not reach them, and to put GOW in a little bit of a pickle now? The vending machine outside the circle, nobody can get to it. And Buriram looking for a massive booyah on this final game where they wake up.
Oh, they need to control that side of the map as BRU has already made that first move behind the fence, which is great. WAG need to start mirroring. Make a choice. Either GOW, which would be a pretty good decision, or BRU on the opposite side. And it looks like they make the call to take on BRU, but AG have different plans. They didn't realize it. Demon healing out in the blue, breaks out, tries to go for a trade, ends up getting Nameless and ruining the odds of AG. Does he find the finish? He does find the finish. What? AG now at one remaining member.
A demonic play by Demon off of GOW. Now 2 Vietnamese squads looking for the fight up against Buriram. Buriram 20 elimination strong. Looking for the booyah on this first game where they want to set themselves up. Moshi in a deadly angle. Using the jump pad to get on top of the warehouse. And now he could just be the difference maker in this battle between Buriram and WAG.
Look at that. The high and low. Moshi and Jonah on that top side to punish WAG if they try to push out. And Wasana and Get High to be the sticky mud so that WAG can't forcefully push their way through. No matter how you look at it, a single pick turns the tides unless Demon somehow ruins one of these teams' chances.
WAG now slowly squeezing themselves into a decent position. Jonah getting tagged up by the Cryo Mine, takes it out and therefore gets marked up by that little narrow. Quickly backing away, leaving Moshi in front. Moshi's angles just can't find WAG just yet. This is gonna be a slugfest down the middle of the circle in a little bit. Demon could just be the difference maker as he cuts down the distance between himself and the WAG players.
Oh, he's in the labyrinth of glue walls right now, and BRU now recognize, hey, we just have to start making our way, start cutting down these glue walls bit by bit. We've got all this ammunition, why not use it?
WAG spotted out by Get High. SBDY in hand. Get High. Big advantage. Tosses in the name. WAG eats up the full one. Wasana Valiant dashes through all of those players. Dig way down on the ground. And put it up coming in here to finish them off one after the other. Demon can't do much. It's a 4v1. Demon rushes on in with his Valiant dash. Gets Get High XL. Demon still standing. And Moshi finally puts an end to that. And Buriram, after giving every other team a 5-game head start, finally starts to play, but we're at the end of the day.
Yeah, they got their booyah. That's what they're looking for. Feeling good at the end of the workday to keep them motivated to play hard later. Oh, what a great fight here. How in the world did Demon sneak away with second place for GOW? That's gotta be so upsetting for WAG.
Dude, Demon was a beast. Pun intended. The guy was on a great run, just like Buriram. But I say props to Demon and GOW overall for the consistent day that they brought out today. Because I think GOW might have been able to do it. GOW might have been able to get just enough points because we saw how close they were to the top of the leaderboard. We thought it was just going to be between the boys of Bigatron by Vitality up against Heavy. Nobody counted in GOW, nobody counted in WAG, but Vietnam just stood up and said, guys, this is our day. What an impressive play from the region of Vietnam.
Yep, I'm loving the excitement that's coming out of them. I love the fact that they clearly can tell how to influence the momentum of the game rather than just focused on playing a standard textbook battle royale simulator. It's way more interesting once they start sticking their hands and get really dirty in these fights.
Yeah, and it's just an unbelievable play for Buriram, right? And I had the assumption that they were just choosing to not shoot. They were just running around the battlefield, very low numbers. And in some of those sequence of battles where they could have responded, they still chose to not do anything until this final game where they were finally moving into motion. And my goodness me, when they were looking for those numbers, I think they found more than what they were looking for because they also got a booyah on top of that.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, it's definitely a switch for BRU for sure because again, the coordination was ridiculous. Like the fact that Wasana and Get High were timing the nade on top of the Valiant dash to make sure that when the nade's about to connect with the wall, he breaks it and it takes out PLS1. That's just, that shouldn't be the case 90% of the times. Nobody can be that coordinated, right?
Nobody. No, I mean, nobody could be that good, and to pull that off swiftly in such a impressive manner. I mean, Buriram, from not waking up the whole day, check this out. have set the record of the day because they ended up that game with a massive number of booyahs for them. Massive number of eliminations as they picked up the booyah. 25 eliminations. That is the most that we have witnessed a squad pick up in this massive SEA lobby. And it's crazy how they got that sorted out when they wanted to.
It is a choice. Not a matter of questioning whether they can or cannot. It is a choice that they made. And even with BTR, when things were lining up perfectly for them to come up with a pretty big game of their own, and even before that, right? Heavy with 19 as well. It's just, AG with 19 out of nowhere in the early stages of the game. It's just, every single time we think that the bar has been set to kind of mediate everybody else, it's just, no. It's actually higher.
So I'm a little curious. Do we have Vietnam allowing us to see Yunsul for the first time today here on the Southeast Asian desk? Or do we get dragged back to Conchita, Caroline, because Bigatron by Vitality did just enough? Now let's take a look at the game highlights just for a little recap before we get to that part of the conversation, because Wasana was just blasting through everyone out there with the elimination.
He was playing hot. He was playing a lot tighter with Get High compared to the previous ones, because there were a lot of somewhat like, oh no, I was half a second late on the engagement. That's my bad. You know, very small mistakes which ended up being costly mistakes. But now that they've cleaned it all up and maintained the communication well, just look at the fact that the whole team is working as a unit. All 4 of them in the top 5 elims for this game as well.
Damn, man. Jonah, Moshi, Wasana making it up there. Unbelievable stuff out of Buriram. Pablo from Avida XKDC sneaking on in there as well for some of the points. Actually, I totally forgot exactly how much Avida XKDC got off of this match, but it was definitely their recovery game after not pulling away too many points in the past 3 matches. Oscar Nero, Cassie A124, and I have to say, the main reason why Wasana got so many of those eliminations was because of Get High XL. The kind of backup out of Get High is just ridiculous. He had the electrotherapy enabling Wasana, and Wasana with the Valiant Dashes, which I have to say was very weak. Wasana just did not have the right angles off of those Valiant Dashes, wasn't really making a lot of impact with the use of the active skill, but with the mechanical plays as well as the passive skills that he has, he's with the Nikita making sure those players don't recover as quickly, just getting knock after knock, 10 knocks in total, 9 eliminations. Man definitely has woken up in the competition.
I mean, they know exactly what Wasana is. He is a sharp knife, and they're going to make sure that that first strike is going to hurt. The biggest thing is that not only is Wasana ridiculous, they've got Get High to back him up to keep him alive for that extra damage. And they've got Moshi, and I love the fact that they brought the A124. So many A124s we saw in the past 2 maps, finding 3, even 4 members getting hit by the A1.
37 points officially the record here at the FFWSC 2026 spring, set by Buriram, who was sleeping the whole day. But of course, there is a price to play when you sleep the whole day. Buriram will not be able to dominate the leaderboard just yet. It is a fight between Bigatron by Vitality that got taken out super early, and Heavy, obviously they stand no chance because that was too early of an elimination for them. But GOW and WAG, they needed massive points, and massive points is what they got off of this final lobby.
From 6th place onwards is where we start seeing the double digits, where people were actively farming these elimination points as soon as they saw somebody up on that map. And you can tell that some teams really could not recover once some of the bigger shooters are out. And look at that, you were right, GOW now overtakes BTR by 5 points, now in 1st place.
Ah man, I knew it was close, but I didn't know it was this close. And if it wasn't for that survival play, maybe this wouldn't have been possible. But GOW, because Demon, not only did he survive and get placement points, but he survived and he actually got elimination points off of AG Global. He was taking those shots in that final bout as well between the squads. I mean, a demonic play out of the GOW player, Demon himself, making sure that #1 spot is secured by the team, and he gives us Yunsul for the interview later on.
Yep, I mean, Vietnam, they've been rising up this time, and based on the current standings of things, BRU is still a force to be reckoned with, but the rest of Vietnam is elevating the floor of the lobby. You can't be making silly mistakes anymore around them.
Nah, man. And this was the kind of heated lobby you are proud to dominate. GOW, the team of the day, earning the extra 250 USD, 53 eliminations, 97 total points picked up, just 3 shy from the century, 35k on the damage, and a single booyah to their name, but it was more than enough. In the very final game, they overtook Bigatron by Vitality on that #1 spot.
Really excited for GOW for the rest of this year, but we're going to be throwing it over to Yunsol, of course, to have a chit chat with our team of the day, GOW. So please, Yunsol, take it away.
Hello everyone, it's Yonsol and welcome to our interview after the match. And I'm so proudly to say that we are the team of the day today, especially for the Vietnamese team. So right next to me is Cao Demon and Cao Daeun. Xin chào tất cả các bạn khán giả, mình là MC Yonsol và ngay bên cạnh mình đây chính là tuyển thủ Cao Demon và Cao Daeun. Và đặc biệt hơn là chúng ta đã giành được chức Team of the Day thuộc về khu vực Việt Nam. Vậy thì đến với câu hỏi đầu tiên. So into our first questions. First of all, congratulations Gao Esports for becoming the team of the day with 2 booyahs in a streak. Just a simple question still open for everything. How do you feel right now? Lời đầu tiên sẽ được chúc mừng đội tuyển Gao Esports, các bạn đã rất xuất sắc trong việc giành lấy được 2 booyah liên tiếp ở game 5 và game 6 và cuối cùng là chốt hạ với chức danh Team of the Day. Thì không biết là mọi người đang cảm thấy như thế nào vậy ạ?
Dạ, được team up ở đây thì bọn em cảm thấy vui thôi, vì đây là lần đầu bọn em đạt được cái team up ở đây.
So basically we feel happy because this is also our first time having the team of the day as well. So as I know that from the beginning of the tournaments, I've heard already that Gao is a team that is not very popular but also underrated as an underdog as well. So do you think that because of that name underdog, so that's why it pushed you guys further to this team of the day thing? Bởi vì ở đầu giải đấu là Yusun có được biết rằng các bạn đang thuộc đội tuyển là underdog, tức là một đội tuyển không được đánh giá quá cao. Nhưng mà với chiến thắng ngày hôm nay là team of the day thì không biết là các bạn có nghĩ rằng là đó nó là động lực để các bạn thi đấu bùng nổ hơn trong hôm nay không ạ?
Dạ, thường thì mùa nào cũng vậy, bọn em luôn bị đánh giá thấp cho nên là bọn em chỉ biết cố gắng hết sức thôi. Cho nên là ai mà ủng hộ bọn em thì bọn em sẽ cố gắng hết sức để đền đáp lại.
So in every season, we always being underrated as an underdog. So we just know that we should try our best. And for those who always support for us, we will continue to play our best and not disappoint you guys at all. Okay, so third questions for Demon. We can all see that at the end of the game 6, you have such a great performance, and we all love that playstyle. So I would like to ask, like, what did you prepare for yourself today so you have such a high performance like that? Đến với Demon thì với câu hỏi thứ ba này là Yusun và tất cả các bạn khán giả đều thấy được rằng là ở game cuối cùng bạn đã có một pha thi đấu rất là siêu trí tuệ. Thì không biết là hôm nay Demon đã chuẩn bị cho mình những gì, ăn uống ra sao, sinh hoạt như thế nào để có một cái phong độ quá là thần thái đến như vậy vậy ạ?
Dạ thì hôm nay để mà em bắn được như vậy thì cũng cảm ơn thằng em trai của em, đó chính là Goku, nó bao em ăn cơm nên hôm nay em bắn khá là hay.
Bao ăn cơm xong rồi đi bắn giải luôn.
Dạ đúng rồi.
Có chuẩn bị gì khác không?
Dạ không ạ.
Không. So I would like to say thank you to my little brother, which is Goku, because he treat me a meal. That's why I feel very happy, and that's why he pushed me a lot so I can play happily and perfect like this. So overall, thank you to my little brother a lot. Alright, last questions. So I think that after this performance, definitely others team will not underrated Gao anymore. So do you think that the road in front of you guys will become harder or not? Thì sau màn trình diễn này chắc chắn là các đội khác sẽ không còn là xem Gao là một cái ẩn số hay là một đội tuyển đang bị đánh giá thấp nữa. Thì liệu rằng là mình có nghĩ rằng là hành trình phía trước nó sẽ khó khăn hay là dễ dàng hơn cho mình không?
Em nghĩ là hành trình phía trước của em thì chắc vẫn còn một chút khó khăn, nhưng mà em nghĩ nó cũng không là vấn đề, tại vì cái team up đây hôm nay là để bọn em thị uy sức mạnh của Gao ạ.
I think overall our road in the future might have a little bit of difficult, but definitely it will be more easier for us since we have this team of the day to prove our power. So that is the end of our interview. Thank you so much for watching, and now let's head back to a caster and see the stats. Cảm ơn các bạn khán giả rất là nhiều vì đã theo dõi phần phỏng vấn của Yusun cùng với Cao Esports. Và bây giờ thì chúng ta hãy cùng quay trở lại với bàn caster và xem những chỉ số thôi nhé.
Well, they are proud of themselves for a very good reason. And yes, they are correct. Many players, many teams, many fans have thought that Gao was the underdog squad, and they are. But they have proven that even underdogs can dominate the day. Buriram just proving that they can dominate if they want to play.
It's their choice, right? Like how Dian just doesn't talk and has been practicing purely his wave. That's all he did. Demon, real good PR press. Great job there. Had everything he wanted to say. And you would imagine that the IGL would be a little bit more talkative, but we got nothing out of it. We got nothing. That's sad. And but the second thing that I thought was pretty interesting. Yeah. Imagine having the polar opposites of like your younger brother being called Goku, who probably is way more jacked and eats beans on a daily basis, while you're named Demon. Such polar opposite names.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Of course, it is a absolute brilliant day that we've had here. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the end of the day. We'll catch you guys right here, same time, same place tomorrow. Take care, good night, and goodbye.